conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with swept us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish, never perish.
Welcome everyone, great to have you with us on another awesome Monday. We've got a busy chat room today. What is going on here? Is it the excitement, I wonder, of Enduro Driver Race 2 at Oulton Park? Pretty sure that's what it is. So yes, welcome along. Hello Sausage Knights. Are you supposed to be racing at the moment? I don't know. Yes, welcome along anyway. So, Enduro Driver, we started this series last week. It feels like so long ago. It's a season that we and Big Brain Racing are co-hosting. An open kind of mini endurance race, open to everyone. And last week we were at, where were we? Watkins Glen, that's where we were. As it is a really good race, and today we are at Oulton Park, the best UK circuit ever? Question mark. So let's see what's it is. Everyone in practice? I don't think there's anybody out just yet, so we'll carry on. How are we all anyway? Had a good day? Yes, Laura, I know you are a big fan of Oulton Park. It's as if it was the first proper race you ever went to. Crazy. We'll have a good Monday anyway. Yeah, don't all rush to answer at once. It's fine. There we go. My Monday was interesting, but it was made better by a big glass of vodka and some racing, which is always good. So we will have Matt from Big Brain Racing joining us very shortly. He is just giving the drivers a good talking to. A driver briefing, making sure we have lots of good racing for you all. You're about to neck a big glass of vodka, Laura. If I had a webcam fired up, I'd jump on it and you'd see me quaffing my big glass as well. So cheers. Congratulations. Anybody else sober out there that needs to get it sorted?
I'm sorry.
Nick, sober? Question mark?
My business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man.
So, yes, you will
To help one another.
You might have to bear with me just a touch. This is my my first time hosting a commentary. Nick, that feels sarcastic. It's very difficult to tell with just a couple of words. You're about to have wine. Excellent. That is a good start. It doesn't matter what wine. It's just wine. That's good. So yes, anyway, my first time hosting a commentary. Last week was my first ever commentary, and I didn't insult a single person. I apologise, and I hope to rectify that today. I'm chuckling at my own joke. Sorry, that's very sad of me. Alright, where are we? I think everyone is still in the driver briefing. I should have thought about this before I started talking, really, shouldn't I? As, I've been going 6 minutes already now. I can this week. I don't know what that was in response to, because it's probably quite a while ago that I said the words. Insult people, yes. Okay, thank you, Laura. Absolutely no idea what drivel has come out of my mouth already. So, yeah, maybe it's a good idea just to give me a little nudge. But yeah, insulting people. I've done it plenty today, just not on Twitch, and not at all last week. So I hope to rectify that. So we've had a couple of car design changes. I believe for this race. I think Daz has had the two cocks taken off the back of his car, which is a little bit upsetting, but we'll make it through, I think. Let me have a quick scan, see how many cars we've got in today. So we have got one withdrawal, and not in the good way. Where are we? So we should have 4, 8, 16. We should have 16 cars on track today. That is a crazy amount. And I'm quite impressed with that. I think we had 12 cars on track last week. Right, so where are we? Still a couple more minutes out from the end of the driver briefing. As soon as we get onto some on-track action, I will jump across there. Yeah. That track is quite a few. Yeah, it's pretty much nose to tail, Nick. 6. Can't even remember how many cars I said now. 16. Yeah, 16 cars around Oulton Park. That's pretty busy. But to be fair, it works out exactly the same as 2 cars around Oulton Park. No fucker's going to overtake. So it's okay. Nick, what are your thoughts to Oulton Park, by the way, dude? Obviously, we've got Laura saying she's a big fan of the track. It's my favourite British track. Anybody else got any thoughts on the track? We've at least got some good names for this race compared to last week, which were awfully named. Nick loves it. Yeah, you do, Nick. But do you want to let me know what question that was in response to? Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't about the track. Oh, I think we've got some track action. Let me... Right, where are we? We have got people out. Here we go. So yes, first time trying to direct one of these things. So I'm probably going to miss an absolute stack of on-track action. I apologise. So this is Wolf Padano. It's still never quite worked out how to pronounce his surname from last race. This is the team that won the race last week by quite a margin, actually. Let me change that there. There we go. So, where are we? We've not got anybody set a time just yet, but oh, okay. As he comes straight into the pits, where have we got? Let's have a look at the map. Oh, car. Okay, so I work my way around this console. Let me just check whether they're all still in the driving briefing or not. Ah, Matt's there, but I can't hear him. I don't know if he's spoken or not, so let's... Ah, there we go. Hello, mate. I'm looking at that many different... I need to turn you on the stream. Right, there we go. You should be able to talk now.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to another round of Enduro Driver.
There he is. Hello. Say hello, chat, to Matt. So Matt is the gorgeous human being that was hosting the race for us last week. Well, lead commentating on the race for us last week, which he'll be doing again this time because I am so confused by all of these buttons. I cannot tell you.
Just start hitting everything until something happens.
That sounds very much like my sex life, Matt.
I think that's just part of being a man, right?
Yeah, 100%. Now, you were probably in your driving briefing where I apologised profusely for last week for not insulting enough people. That was the main feedback I got from last week. Apparently your commentary was awesome. I didn't insult enough people, so
Okay.
I was thinking if we can try and rectify that this week, that'd be good.
Yeah, who wants roasting first?
I think anybody and everybody, particularly people that have been stupid enough to put my face on the side of their car.
Understood.
So blimey, Damien has just done a 1:33.7. That's quite a quick lap. Although I do know he was bragging a little earlier in the week that he'd done one a fair chunk quicker than that.
Yeah, I think wasn't quite sure if Damon was going to be back for the qualifying and the start of the race in this one again this week. So obviously looks like he is. So gives that 777 car a much better chance of getting a better grid position and a better first stint in the race than what they had last week. Obviously, a few troubles with that car last week.
Sorry, I'm just responding to a couple of issues. Apparently, nobody can hear the game audio. So keep filling, Matt.
Okay, I'll do what I can. So first out of the garage, it looks like we have Luca Amaral in the number 47 at Big Brain Racing Audi, just heading down into Old Hall Corner.
You've been swatting up on your corner names again, haven't you?
I may or may not have a track map in front of me.
That's the spirit. Well, at least we're stepping away from god-awful corner names like we were last week.
Yeah, every corner has a name around Oulton Park, so...
Okay, so I've turned the audio up massively. Apparently nobody can hear anything still, so... okay, Matt, keep filling.
I can make car noises if you want.
I think, to be fair, that might be the best option. I can see the problem. I just don't know how to fix it. Which is great. Okay. Let's start adding some random filters, I think. Let's, stick a gain stage in there. Okay.
Damon Konchuk here, just coming round to complete his outlap. Does look like the livery there hasn't loaded on that car.
Was that the one that you just sent me?
No, this is one of our liveries.
So I did the whole pit skill thing.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
We'll get things sorted for next time.
Okay, and apparently I fixed the audio.
Excellent.
Yeah, excellent. Right now I can concentrate on what the hell's going on. Right, where are we?
Yeah, so Damon Contract just coming back round Oulton corner again, coming down through, where am I? I'm lost actually. That was Island Bend, now into Shell Oil corner.
And that hairpin is so banked. Have you been to the track, Matt?
I haven't actually, no.
It is, it's an awesome track. You should definitely go and visit it. But what this game does not show you is the absolutely mental elevation change. The banking around that hairpin is, I mean, it's not Monza levels, but it's really steep. And what really gets me is as Damien comes through kind of into the back end of the section now, as he starts rising up the hill, obviously you've got a couple of fast right-hand corners, and the penultimate corner, which I'm struggling to remember the name of right at this precise moment, which I'm sure you'll tell me right now, Matt.
My track map's a bit weird, but that is Druid's Corner.
Last one is Lodge.
Yep, last one is Lodge Corner.
And then the Deer's Leap, where he's coming through now, actually, the track rate drops down about 12 feet and then back up again for that straight. Which is why I'm sure, Matt, you will be aware of every time you go around that corner, the back of the car just wants to overtake you.
Yeah, the back end of the car very much wanting to be the front end of the car every time you come through there. Yeah, no matter what car you're driving as well.
Yes. So that's why it's that 12-foot kind of roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, and I wish we could see it in game, but unfortunately we can't. I've been rambling now. I apologise. It was just a fact I love to get out about this circuit.
No, that's all good. That's all good. So it looks like we actually just had Chris Cow come around to complete a lap of 33.8 at the minute. Is a provisional pole time.
Let's jump on.
Leading Darren Jones by just over 1/10 of a second at the minute. It's looking quite tight at the top as we get the times coming in at the minute. Third place is only another 0.2 back as well. Alessandro Murgia in the Cayman Raider number 182 Lamborghini.
And not surprised that's a pseudo car.
Okay.
None of them have changed the liveries, obviously, to add pseudo to it. So Darren Jones actually right now is a quarter of a second up on his lap time, just coming into the back end of the section. This will be a mighty lap. He's now 0.3 of a second up. Oh, as Damien drops in a 1:32.8.
Solid lap time there.
Oh, yeah, it's just 0.8 of a second faster than everybody else. It's fine.
Yeah, it's all. Everything's fine.
Let's watch the end of Daz's lap. He's half a second up on himself, which is a cracker done. It should put him quite comfortably second. Yep.
Yep, Peter at the minute, 0.6 behind Damien.
But then right behind him, we've got another Lamborghini, a quarter of a second up on their best time, which is going to put them second. So it's certainly high up. Maybe not for first place, but yeah, certainly for second.
Interestingly, what we did see last week, Darren Jones and his teammate Tom Venters, very similar pace in that car, whereas I think Damien Konchak probably quite a bit quicker than his teammate Ryan O'Sullivan. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that. So it could be quite an interesting battle, maybe with Damien pulling away during the first stint, and then that gap closing again during the second stint.
Well, that's assuming that we see Damien do more than 10 minutes in the car this time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they had a few technical issues in that last race, talking to them afterwards, where the game kind of defaulted to make them doing a driver switch when they didn't want to, and then they ended up having to do another one at their proper pit stop. So
yeah, it's not the easiest system in the world, is it? I don't think the driver swaps in this game. And as Wilf Perdano, last week's winner, has come in and slaughtered Damien's time. That will not make him happy. He's just done a 132.5, so 3/10 of a second faster than Damien. Wow.
That's a good time. That AMG Mercedes looking very strong around Oulton Park.
Well, I'm going to switch over to Damien now because he's once again 1/3 of a second up on his lap time.
Yeah, 3/10 up at the minute and about 3/10 off the pole position time. So interesting to see where this lap puts him.
It's certainly going to be spicy. Matt, out of interest, what's your lap time around here?
Where am I? Probably, I think, high 33s in qualifying, maybe. But I haven't raced it for quite a while, actually. I don't think I've actually raced on this track since the 1.9 update, so maybe I would be a little bit quicker than that now, because I have improved a bit since the update.
Okay, well, it's for once I've actually done some. So very interestingly, obviously Matt, you run league races outside of this enduro races, as do we. We race ours on a Tuesday, and totally by chance, after Monday's Enduro Driver at Watkins Glen, we just by chance had GT3 race on Tuesday at Watkins Glen. You'll never guess where we are tomorrow.
Are you back at Oulton Park tomorrow?
Yes.
So it does look like Damien took the pole position time there by just over 200ths of a second from Perdano.
That's a seriously quick time. I don't care what planet you're from. That's quick. We got anybody else making some moves? So
Mezia,
yep,
or Misa, Oscar Misa, just jumps up to P6 there, improves with a 33.7.
Yeah, it was a good quarter of a second
there. Yep. Also looks like we've got Davide Baldo down in the number 46 BMW. Currently finds himself in P9. Was improving by about 2/10. Has lost a little bit of that. Still quite early on the lap though.
Yeah, I think he's back up. He's back up to 2/10 and then dropped down again to 1. It's he should be able to get an improvement from here, I would have thought.
I would have thought so. That BMW looking very splendid in its gold livery there, running a little bit wide there on the exit of Britain's.
Yeah, it's
not ideal.
No, I think he's going to struggle to get quarter of a second back now.
Yeah. So we do have a little bit of a lull at the minute. We do have Daz Young actually about a 10th up again early in the lap. Currently in P5 in the number 92 Wild Things Porsche. So still actually gaining about 2/10 up on his lap now.
Yeah, he's putting a good lap together. He could. Where is he? Yeah, this could certainly jump him up a spot if he can keep this.
Yeah, one or maybe two with a little bit more improvement through the back end of the track, the back end of his lap.
This is it's such a beautiful track, but this corner here really punishes the greedy. So easy to brake a little bit too late, run a little bit wide, and then this run onto the back, onto the start finish straight.
Very much under control from Daz Young there, and good enough for P3 at the minute with that lap. 133.2.
Yeah, that's a great result. That's a great. So I'm just having a look up and down as well. We've got a couple of small improvements. In fact, back down to the back of the grid. Salah in the McLaren is a good half a second up on his time at the moment, so this will shoot him up one spot, but be a lot closer to Peter in P14.
Yep, just coming around to Britain's now. Very difficult chicane this. Some very aggressive curbs that. Okay, you can run them aggressively in qualifying, but in the race has a tendency of causing punctures if you attack those curbs too much, too often.
Yeah, I think we'll probably find most of the cars will report at some point some pressure loss. Certainly in the front right around here, it does take a bit of a pounding. He's keeping everything together though, still 0.6 of a second up on his previous best. He may possibly kind of have a sniff around P14 as well to dethrone Peter, which I'm sure will upset Peter very much.
Quite possibly. He's around about 7 tenths up now. He's been gaining gradually more and more time throughout this lap. Good exit out of Lodge Corner and comes across the line, moves himself up to P13.
Wow, that is quite some improvement. And we've got, in fact, P12 at the moment is a good third of a second up on their best. Darren is also pushing on as well in third place. He's a quarter of a second, but we'll stick with this action just for a bit. We don't often get to see the guys a little bit further back in the field, so it'll be good to see their lap. So, Matt, how did your guys feel about the race last week? Everyone happy?
I think a lot of the big brain racing guys had issues in the race and just struggled in general. So I'm hoping they're a lot better prepared this week. They seem to have been so far. So we'll see how they get on this week. But yeah, I think generally enjoyed the racing, some good racing. Just struggled with issues and bits and pieces. So.
Yeah, it's the nature of endurance racing and longer races. You're going to come across back markers. You're going to get yourself maybe into incidents here and there. It's it's tricky. But
so Marsden comes across the line, improves his time, but doesn't quite move up a position there. So still P12 at the minute in that Ferrari.
I think we've got Peter at the moment making some moves. He's was a couple of tenths up on his best. He's just dropped a little bit, but maybe he can get it back through the hairpin. Shell Oil Corner.
Yeah, we did have a question in chat about seeing the livery of Peter, so there it is on screen right now.
Has he dropped my face? No, I'm still there. Great. Brilliant. So Peter's still hovering around the kind of 1/10 or so above his best, which isn't going to be quite enough to bump him up a place. But there's still time in the lap to pull up a couple of tenths. As I say that actually the spot in front of him is 6 tenths ahead of his personal best.
Yeah, Luca Amaral there in number 47 Big Brain Racing Audi, 6 tenths up. I know that team, both Luca and Vocek, have been really not too happy with how the Audi works around this track. Having a lot of issues on curbs and getting the car to rotate, and yeah, just not super happy this week in that car.
It's a tricky beast around here for sure. And so Peter does bump up a position. He's I think he improved his lap time by about a third of a second, which is good because he did most of that in the last 2 corners. Okay, so we've got Mark Jones in P12.
Jones, yeah, improving by 3 tenths at the minute.
Watch him come across the line. Yes, indeed. Yes, straight up to 9th position. Was a good result for Mark. Another pseudo car, obviously you can tell by all the big logos on the car. Where else?
I think I know why the Big Brain Racing liveries haven't worked, so I'll sort that for you for next time.
Okay, is that something that I've missed out?
No, it's something that I've overlooked.
Okay. Sorry, have we got more than one missing, have we?
Yeah, it's all of them. So I think the pack I got you to download didn't actually have them in. So
okay, that might explain why they're not showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got
it was spin there for Mark Jones, and then returns to garage. Yeah, Rayner after the start down in P5 at the minute, and the number 11 Big Brain Racing Lamborghini currently 3 tenths up on this lap. Just coming through Britain's.
And this is certainly enough to put him at 1 spot if he can pull a touch bigger gap, possibly 2.
Yeah, braking heavily into Hislops. I always find this corner, Knickerbrook, to be quite a difficult corner around here. Kind of off camber, and you need to take a bit of curve on the inside, but if you take too much, it throws you too wide, and then the outside curve wants to pull you off track as well. So very, very difficult corner.
And it's super important because you've got that big long run up the hill, which really kind of needs as much horsepower as you can throw at it. So yeah, having to back off early in the corner, not good. He's still...
actually just invalidated on the last corner there.
Yeah.
Practicing pit entry. Who else is improving? So it's very much Baldo down in P11 in the number 46 BMW, currently a tenth and a half up on this lap. Just coming around Shallow Hills corner.
So one thing that we need to talk about, Matt, is passing, overtaking, and how difficult it is on this track. It's would you say the qualifying is possibly one of the most important? As Baldo loses it on the inside curb.
I'd say very difficult track to overtake on here. You're really relying on the car ahead of you making a mistake to be able to make the pass. It's a hard track to overtake on.
But it does mean that if you can squeeze ahead, maybe off the start line, maybe just get a couple of extra positions to what you normally would in qualifying, you've got a good chance of holding that for a lot of the race, if not the whole race.
Yeah, that's true. The other thing, obviously, we have to factor in is the top three teams from last week's race getting their success penalties applied at the pit stop in this race.
So just remind us what those penalties are, Matt.
Yep, so the number 470 car who won the race last week, currently Padano in that car, they will get a 15-second penalty applied at that pit stop. The number 84 car, which is currently being driven by Darren Jones, they will get a 10-second penalty for finishing second last week. And the number 282 car, currently being driven by Chris Cow, they will get a 5-second penalty for taking third place in the last race.
So, I mean, how much do you expect those penalties to really influence the race outcome?
Well, again, because of how difficult overtaking is around here, like take Pradane for example, currently looking like he's going to take the pole position for this race. If he doesn't build a big enough gap to cover off that 15-second penalty, it's then going to mean that at the pit stops he'll drop behind one or more of the cars, which then can be very difficult to recover from. But it is something that you see a lot in GT racing in the real world. You see these success penalties being applied, and it does help to spice up the racing. It does help to kind of mix up grids with those penalties being applied at the pit stops.
So what you're saying, Matt, and this is what I heard, of all the races to win, last week's was not the one.
It depends, really. Depends how much pace you think you've got around here.
I think I love the penalty system. I think it's great. It really does mix things up. But if you're come out 1 second behind the car behind you after serving your penalty, that is going to cost you for half of the race. I think it's good. It will certainly give us plenty to watch, hopefully, during the race.
Yep. Last car on track, I think the 305 just crossing the line. They do improve, but not enough to move them up a grid position. So, we actually have the 277, but they're well down on their time at the minute. So,
indeed. So let's have a look at the times. So, interestingly, Wilf having 2 of the fastest sectors there. I think Damien had sector 1, but then the times disappeared.
Sector 2, no, Sector 1, yeah, you're right. Sector 1 was Damon's, and then 2 and 3 for Padrano.
You've clearly got a slightly bigger screen than me because I can't fit that. I know my timing page. So, right, Matt, have you got the all of the team names in front of you by any chance?
I don't know at the minute, but what we can do is we can run through the cars one by one as we go around the formation lap.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
And that then gives me time to apply the success penalties as well.
Okay, yeah, good call. Good call. So, the race, it is 2 hours, is it not? Today?
Yeah, 2 hour race.
So, yeah, the driver stint time is, well, that's an hour. So the pit window, is that still 10 minutes?
Yep, still 10 minute pit window. So pit window will open 5 minutes before the 1 hour mark, so the 55-minute mark, and will stay open then 5 minutes after that midpoint, the 1 hour mark, so with 55 minutes remaining.
Excellent. So we're going to see a flurry of activity for those 10 minutes. And then we'll get to see whether the second driver is as fast as the first drivers and how much of an impact those penalties are going to make. Okay. So I'm just going to get all of the teams up. Matt, is there an easy way to find out what team these people are racing, or do I just need to search down for the car number?
You can. It doesn't show it in there. But if you go through them one by one down the grid, it should show their team name at the bottom of the screen, or at least the team name that they have associated with the livery that they're running.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you'll need to click drive in game again as well.
Thank you. There we go. That'll be why nothing's working. There's nothing like learning live, is there?
That's the best way to learn, right?
Yeah, tell my underpants that. Okay, so... I cannot see what team we're on. Have I managed to put my logos right above it?
If you click BC on the left hand side, it'll bring up the broadcast screen.
There we go. Look at that. Excellent. So yeah, out in first then we have got Wilf from Big Brain Racing. No, that one Damien. Yeah, sorry. I have to walk substantially closer to the TV to be able to read the small text. Tell you what, let's... Yeah, so that is SGSS Racing. So this is the team that won last week's race. Were from pole position. We're also quickest in practice. Yeah, so this is... I'm sure we're not going to have a repeat of last week. I'm pretty sure this race is going to be substantially closer than it was last week, given the nature of the circuit and how easy it is to make mistakes. And obviously Damien... so Damien has swapped over. So Damien did the qualifying, if I'm correct, and swapped over to his teammate O'Sullivan for the race start.
Looking that way, yes. Sometimes it does bug out a little bit until the cars start moving. So we'll wait and double check that one for you. But it is looking that way at the minute.
A bug in ACC, Matt? No, I don't think that's possible.
Right? It's hard to believe.
Oh, the joys. So, just coming up to the end of the 4 minutes given to the drivers to get any setup changes done. Again, I'm fueling the car, obviously, for a 55 to 65 minute stint. I'm sure they're all having a chat with a teammate. Wow, take it easy from the start, but make sure you get ahead of as many people as possible.
Yeah, not a super long run down to turn one here either. So unless you get a particularly good start, it can be quite difficult to make up too many positions.
It can, although it's a quite wide corner, so you can get a number of cars through there because you're not really tightening up on the apex.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
We might see some fireworks. Okay, so any second now they will be off on parade lap. So yes, there we go. This is Wilf Padano. Is my best attempt at butchering his surname. I apologise, Wilf. In SGS Racing. Let's see whether he can take it from pole to victory again this week. And then we have got O'Sullivan here in the Big Brain Racing Lamborghini. So it certainly does look like he is starting the race after Damien's qualifying session. So good luck to him. Hopefully they have a better run at it this week than they did last week.
So interestingly showing Ryan O'Sullivan in the timing board, but showing Damien Konchik in the bottom right corner. So again, we may have to wait and see if that updates when they cross the line to start the race.
Maybe they've added an extra seat in the car and they're both going round together.
They're both in, yeah.
That's a true partnership. Brilliant. Thank you, ACC. So here we've got then Darren Jones, the first of the pseudo entries in Pseudo Racing Alpha. They were really strong contenders last week in P2. And then we have the Porsche of, I certainly cannot read that text, let me get up near the screen. Wild Things Racing. I don't remember the Porsche from last week. Was this one of the teams that sat out?
They signed up this week. So they weren't in the first race, but they've signed up this week. So we've got Daryl Young and Aurelian Kroos in that car from Wild Things Racing.
Excellent. Well, it's good to see. Obviously, they saw the first race and thought, I want some of that. So that's good. So in P5, we have got... did you pronounce his name Athenstadt?
Yep.
Excellent. So that's another Big Brain Racing entry. I think they did pretty good, didn't they, last week?
Yeah, they had a solid result. Rayner actually, his teammate didn't turn up last week, so he ended up doing the whole race on his own, and then took a 130-second penalty at the end of the race for not doing the driver swap.
Yes. Yeah, that was unfortunate, but it was a really good showing all the way through the race. P6, we have got Oscar Meza from EOS Esports Racing. I believe these guys sat out last week, I think, from memory.
Possibly.
I'm taking way too long to do this, so I best fly through a few more. So up next in 7th place we have got Raymond Camps in another pseudo car, and I should probably get back to the track action because they're about to shoot off for the first lap of a 2-hour race.
So we are going green, and good start from Wolf Pedano. Looks like it is Damien in that car, so it has updated now. Damien Konchak on the outside can't quite make the move done. Looks like everyone's got through turn one cleanly, which is always a good start. Pedano leading the way from Damien Konchak. Darren Jones dropped a little way back in 3rd position there. And my timing screen's just gone crazy. a spin from Pedano.
Oh dear.
Not quite sure what happened there. Maybe get a quick replay on that.
He was dropping down so quick I couldn't click on his name to get a replay.
Looks like he just clipped the grass on the outside there of Cascades, Island Bend. Sorry. outside of Island Bends on the. He just clipped the grass there and around it came. So yeah, that's not the ideal race start.
Yeah, where we just watched that. Oh, he was hit by I think it might have been Damien. So Damien will have some damage to the front of his vehicle.
Yeah, after the spin, I think there's a bit of contact there. We've also got the 307 car in the pits, so I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Let's have a quick look, see whether we can find it. I think I've just missed that replay. I think he's gone off at the hairpin.
So Damien Contrick now leading the way in the number 777 Big Brain Racing car, Lamborghini. Just over 0.7 of a second behind him is Darren Jones in the Pseudo Racing number 84 Lamborghini. Third place we have Oscar Misa in the number 307 EOS Esports Racing Porsche. So a good start there from Oscar. They've jumped up a couple of positions.
I was just having a look down at P9, Matt, and we've got Big Brain Racing. El Amaral has just put in the fastest lap.
Luca Amaral there.
Made a position or two, I think, on that opening lap.
Yeah, they've moved up a couple of positions by the look of it. I think they were P13 on the grid, so yeah, made up a couple of positions on that first lap. But yeah, I think although the fastest lap, it was a 4:36, obviously with it being the opening lap of the race. So
I was getting too excited, Matt. I saw a big purple number and got too excited. That's not entirely the first time that's happened either.
But it does look like we have a good Porsche on Porsche battle happening between P4 and 4 and 3. Aurelian Kroos behind Oscar Meza.
Yeah, I just jumped to that on the screen
very
as well.
closely.
Yeah, it looks like they're very well suited, the Porsches, I think, to this track, and those two drivers seem fairly well matched at the moment. So we've got Darren Jones just dropping back a touch from Damien at the moment, who does just put a proper racing lap in. Matt, it's gone purple, and it's not the first lap. He's just put in a 1:34.045. So that's great pace. Well, I think we will stop with this battle at the moment for P3.
Yeah, it's looking like a good battle. Aurelian Kroos there looking for the move into Cascades, but not quite on, so has to just duck back in behind as they come down now around Island Bend.
It's a really fast corner, and it leads into such a tight hairpin. It's easy to make a little mistake on the way in there, and somebody can pounce quite quickly. Well, we've got Luca Amaral has just gone off on the inside of coming up to that hairpin. You think he might be the first to go off there, but he was definitely not going to be the last. That's a particularly tough corner.
Just having a quick look at the replay. It looks like he managed to avoid all the tyre barriers down there, so shouldn't be any damage on that car, luckily. So he'll be able to continue.
Yeah, just as I was saying, it's easy to make a mistake there. Clearly,
actually, it looks like we got Rainer. Sorry to cut you off there. Rainer Athenstad looking to make the move on Aurelian Kroos there as they come whereabouts on track over here. And Aurelian Kroos is off. He's running a little bit wide there. That lets Rainer through there. That was into Druid's corner.
That's. I think I might have just missed the action by just a smidge. However, back in P5, we've got the AMG of Cow right up the back of Rainer Athenstad, pushing him hard, coming down the beginning of the track, up past the lake.
Yep, so really good start there from Athenstad. A little bit of misfortune there for Aurelian Kroos in that number 92 Wild Things Racing Porsche. But yeah, manages to keep going, just ran a little bit wide. And now Chris Cowell, like you say, on the back of Athenstad there.
There's time enough for Cross, I think, to pull that back. People are going to be making mistakes in this race. He's certainly 100%. Not going to be alone, and that probably won't be his only mistake in the race. It's such a tough track. but it does mean that there's plenty of time for you to get it back with it being a 2-hour race.
Oh, definitely. It does look like we got Aurelian Cross there all over the back of Raymond Camps, and actually a little mistake from Camps there, and that lets Aurelian Cross through.
He's going to see if he can make a move back into the is it the hairpin again or two now? No, it's not. That was Druids. That was it was a really good move on Ray there. I'm sure Ray will be kicking himself and he will not be letting him go.
But also, again, it's a long race, so plenty of time to recover. Plenty of time if you keep it clean to maybe make those positions back.
That's right, and I do know the Porsche is particularly good around this track, I think. That's my understanding anyway. Every time I try and get in it, it spits me off on the outside of the track. But my understanding is if you can keep hold of it, it's a quick car. So yeah, let's see what he can do. He's pulled out a second gap already, so maybe he's on his way and he's going to try and close down Chris Cow.
Oh, we've got another yellow flag from Paduano there as well. Same place, just losing the car, going down into Shell Oil's corner there, but managed to keep it out of the wall, so he will continue again.
Yep. We're going to see a lot of cars off there. And the tricky thing is keeping it out of those tyres at the end. Not that I've ever done that, Matt, but yeah, if you don't keep it out of those tyres, you're going to be quite a long time repairing your car.
Yeah, it can cause a lot of damage, those tyres.
So I've just jumped aboard with Athenstat again in the Big Brain Lamborghini, right up the back side of Mesa in the Porsche. He's pushing him very hard indeed.
Yep, just coming down into Lodge Corner, coming around to complete another lap. Jesus, we're on lap. Well, just starting lap 5 for these cars already. Doesn't seem like we've had that many laps, but...
I've literally only had 2 mouthfuls of vodka. How's that possible?
Yeah.
So it looks like Misa's got the upper hand through right at the last part of the section and the first couple of corners, and it's really this part of the lap here where Athenstat is reeling him in. Maybe it's the power of that Lamborghini.
Yeah, the straight line speed and the slipstream of that Lamborghini behind the Porsche really looking like it's gaining on him through that section. You would probably expect the Porsche to be a little bit better through the corners than the Lamborghini as well. But the Lamborghini may be a little bit better on the curbs as well. So good battle between these two cars. Two very different cars, but both similar pace at the minute.
Yeah, I think this might well be a battle, entire stint long. So yeah, that's good. That's good. Good racing. So we've got crossing the other Porsche. Has indeed got straight onto the back of Chris Cow in the AMG. Just 3.4 seconds behind. So he's done a good job of pulling away from Raymond Camps, who he overtook. I'm going to say 1 lap ago, but it's probably 2 now. He's pulled a 2-second gap on him already. We've got, just looking at on the timing screens, I've got another purple numbers flash up. Damien has now done a 133.3, which is a quick lap with this amount of fuel on.
Yeah, that's good solid race pace that. Fastest man on track at the minute by around about 0.3 of a second over Darren Jones. So that gap not extending massively so far, around about 1.2 to 1.5 seconds fluctuating throughout the lap. So still Darren keeping Damien in check, at least at this point in the race.
Yeah, he's doing brilliantly. I keep flipping between the 2 Porsches because one of them seems to about to be overtaken. The other one seems to be doing some overtaking, and as soon as I cut to the camera, they drop back a little bit, and then it's the other battle that's getting closer. Either way, both the Porsche and the AMG and the Lamborghini and the Porsche, they all seem to be really nicely matched, quicker in different parts of the circuit. This is definitely a battle that's going to be going on, probably for the 2 hours.
Yeah, I think realistically, probably a four-way battle between these cars for that final spot on the podium. It's looking like at the minute.
That's right. We've just had the Audi of the Big Brain Racing car, driven by Amaral at the moment. He's just made a spot to take P11. Took that off Salah in the McLaren. Sorry. So that was a good move. And I just noticed that Wilf, our pole sitter, has clawed his way back up to 10th after his little off. That's going to hurt him quite a lot, that off.
We've had, sorry to cut you off there, we had a yellow flag there from Darren Jones. Looks like he's actually been in the wall a little bit there as well. Just on the exit of Cascades there, just losing the rear and then putting onto the wall on the inside there.
Yeah. That's dropped him down at 7th place at the moment. Yeah, he's back up and running. But yeah, that's cost him what, 8 spots? 8 spots? 6 spots. 6 spots, yeah. Well, what that does seem to have done as well is closed up that group of 4 we were talking about. Oscar Misa, Reina Athenstad, Chris Cow and Aurelian Kroos. All of those cars now well within a second of each other. So a proper 4-way battle on track as well. Yes, yeah. I mean, I've seen 3-ways on TVs, but I've never seen a 4-way. So this is marvelous. Sorry, I got told I had to say that at some point during the stream. Yeah, so we've got as you said, 4 cars really there, kind of vying for what is second place. Damien being a good 14 seconds out in the lead.
Ooh, a little bit of a twitchy exit there from Oscar Meza. Has given Reina the run there on the inside into turn 1, but can't quite get far enough alongside to make the move. It backs out of it.
Yeah, I think that's probably why he's backing out of that corner at this point. It looks like he's going to have plenty of opportunities for other attempts.
Yeah, I think that's something. If it's in the last 10 minutes of the race, you may be going for that. But at this point, keep it clean, keep it on track, and keep going.
Yeah, most definitely. So all 4 cars still, as the Lamborghini of Athenstad went a touch wide there, which held up Chris Cow, I think, and put Cross right onto his backside, and he's still there now. This is a great battle.
Does look a little bit like Oscar Mesa's the cork in the bottle for these cars at the minute. Does look like the 3 behind probably have a little bit more pace at this point in the race, but doing a great job to keep them behind so far.
Yeah, and like we were saying, you know, you've got to get past, and it is not an easy track to make that move and make it stick.
Definitely not. So Aurelian Kroos now looking for the move down into the final corner, Lodge corner, but again can't. That's the trouble. When the straights come, there's not quite enough straight to really get properly alongside. So you either make a bit of a lunge or you have to back out of it. And so far at this point in the race, everyone kind of taking the sensible option and backing out, live to fight another day.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's a long race, but as you said, give it the last 10 laps. I'm sure they'll have a very different idea in mind of making a move stick, come what may.
Yeah, out front though with Oscar Meza kind of holding this group up a little bit. The gap up to Damian Konchik in first is now 17 seconds. So gap from P1 to P2, 17 seconds at this point in the race. So these cars behind, if they have any thoughts of winning this race, probably need to find a way past Oscar Meza at some point in the next few laps. If they think they can then start closing that gap down to Damien.
Yeah, indeed, it's a big gap already though, and given that obviously Darren Jones was in that little gap there, they've all been falling back at a reasonable pace. However, as we said last race, Matt, first driver can be at one pace, your second driver Is he going to be quicker? Is he going to be slower? It could change the face of the race quite a lot once they come in for those pit stops.
Exactly. And it does look as well like Raymond Camp's starting to catch up to the back of this group now as well. He was over 2 seconds behind Aurelian Kroos. Now that gap is around about 1.3 seconds as they come around to start another lap. So could we have a 5-way battle forming here?
I haven't promised to make any jokes about that, so that'll be perfectly fine. So this is the thing, though, isn't it? The more those cars battle in front and try and jockey for position, the slower they're going to be because they're taking defensive lines, they're slowing each other down, and it's going to allow, as we see here, Raymond Camps kind of close the gap. We've got Mark Jones making moves as well in P7, and Wilf Dano is up to 8th now, and he's closing in fast as well. So we could have the entire field fighting for P2 very shortly.
It's certainly looking that way at the minute. Wilf Pradano, like you say, good recovery from him so far, back up to P8. We think there is probably a bit of damage on that car as well from the contact with Damien after the spin. But yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say, sorry, there's been a swap for P2. Mazer has dropped down to 3rd, and Asenstat in the Lamborghini has found a way past and is pulling a margin out quite quickly.
Yeah, it looks like Mazer ran a little bit wide going into... What corner was that? Just trying to work it out. I think into Knickerbrook. But yeah, Asenstat through now, already nearly a second ahead of Oscar Mazer. So yeah, I think I was right before. Oscar Mazer really was a little bit of a cork in the bottle for these cars. So interesting to see now if Chris Cow and Aurelian Kroos can also find a way through.
Well, we just had Kroos and Cow side by side over the start-finish line. So they're busy having a battle as well. I just wonder whether it would be a good idea for them to find a way of communicating. Look, let's just get past these guys in front and we'll fight later on. It would be good if they could do that for them. I'm quite enjoying watching them race at the moment, though.
Yeah, we want to see racing, don't we?
We do, 100%, yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see now that Rainer Aftenstadt is into that clean air. Be interesting to see whether he can start to close that gap down to. Well, we have a spin there from Oscar Mazer in Britain's.
Let's get a replay of that.
So coming down, was it in?
Yeah, into
not in Britain, sorry, into Hislops.
Oh yeah, and he's just taken a whole heap of inside curb, which has thrown the front of that car right up in the air.
Yeah, that's dropped him down to P7. So yeah, interesting to see this whole group now that was behind him and now obviously clear. Be interesting to see if they can start to make any inroads on the lead car, which is still Damian Konchik in that number 777 Big Brain Racing Lamborghini. So far though, it is looking like that gap is still widening rather than closing. So
yeah, it's up to 22 seconds now, Matt.
Yeah, 22 seconds. It's a lot to try and close. But obviously we still have an hour and 40 minutes to go in this race, so 20 you can quite easily lose 20 seconds if you run wide somewhere or you have a spin. We actually have Paduano now making a move on Oscar Mazer. They're side by side through Island Bend, and yeah, sensibly I think that Oscar Mazer just opting to back out of that one. Let Paduano go through. So
I just noticed a comment on my our Twitch chat that Athenstadt in car number 11 is suffering pressure loss, which is not great news with 40 minutes left to go of his stint.
No, but not entirely unexpected either around this track.
No, not at all. Not at all. But it's not what you want. just 1/3 into your stint.
Definitely not.
Depending on how quick that is, though. I mean, obviously it's going to affect the way the car's handled. But if it's not too severe, it's okay. The problem is when you start losing pressure, it's easier to lose even more pressure, and you get that snowball effect, which is not helpful at all.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm always tempted when it's tracks like Oulton Park. I'll purposely take higher pressures at the start of the race, knowing that you're probably going to suffer some pressure loss over the stint. And also the higher pressures tend not to lose pressure as easily as if you're running lower pressures on those curbs.
Matt, you're very intelligent. Has anybody ever told you that?
I don't know about that.
Well, they have now, and it's recorded for posterity.
Someone clip that. Oh,
Yeah.
a little bit late on the brakes there from Aurelian Kroos, running deep into Shell Oil's corner, and actually losing a position there to Ray Camps as well as a result of that. Maybe got caught out a little bit from how early Chris Cow broke in front of him. Gains that position back from Camps though. Camps running a little bit wide.
You can tell we were both watching the same thing because we both squealed at the same time then, Matt.
Yeah.
Very manly squeals, I'll add, but still we
Very
squealed.
manly, definitely.
Yeah.
No one clipped that.
We've had a spin for the Audi of Amaral as well. Can't quite place where that is. I think it's coming into that back chicane.
Yeah, it's just into Britain's, I believe.
Yeah, just taken too much inside curb again, and just sent the car right round.
Yeah, managing not to lose a position from that, luckily for them. So they'll continue. They do now have Sala right on the back of them.
And talking about cars on the back of them, I've just moved up to P7, where Mark Jones has got Wolf Padano right up on his back bumper. This is I know Mark. He handles pressure quite well, but Wolf has been a lot quicker than him. I don't know how long he's going to be able to hold him off for.
See, I think in Mark Jones' position, if I was him, I wouldn't really be fighting this position too hard at this point in the race, especially knowing that Pedrano has that 15-second time penalty to serve at the pit stop as well.
But you clearly don't know Mark Jones very well. He will fight every position as much as he possibly can. He just gets in the car, and if you're in front of him, he's going to try and overtake you. If you're behind him, he's going to keep you behind you. That's Mark's motto.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. Sometimes it does take a little bit of racecraft there, I guess, just to understand what's going on around you and know that potentially, Mark's on the back of Ray Camps and Aurelian Kroos as well. So, sometimes by letting the faster car through, you can almost follow them through as they make the moves ahead of you as well.
Yep, that's a very good point. So just having a look up to the lead. Damien is now a good 26 seconds away.
Sorry, Mark Jones just running wide there in the last corner, in Lodge Corner, allowing Pedrano through there. So the whole conversation we just had completely mute now.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
First bit of abuse for the evening, right?
I'm going to send him a snotty email when we come off here, making me look like a dickhead. Thank you, Mark. Love you, really. So yeah, as I was just saying, Damien is 26 seconds ahead now. So this first stint is certainly looking signed, sealed, delivered by Damien. Obviously, we've still got an entire hour and a half racing still to come, so it can all change. But he's certainly checked out up in front. But then, yeah, that big group that we had, second down to realistically ninth, are all just a handful of seconds away from each other. And as we've seen with Mark, Ray, Wilf, it's not too difficult to make a mistake that can send you tumbling down that order. Oh, literally as I say that, Ray fires himself off into the grass.
Bit of commentator's curse there, maybe.
Yeah, should I stop talking about the pseudo drivers? Sorry,
yeah,
Ray.
just again a little bit too much curb on the inside there, and the back end just not wanting to comply, and just comes around on him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that drops Ray down to P9. But again, we've seen mistakes from a lot of drivers now, so I think it's going to be one of those races. As long as you're somewhere there or thereabouts towards the end, you've got a chance.
100%. 100%. Should we just start talking about Damien solidly for about 20 seconds and see whether we can get him to make a mistake?
Go ahead.
I was not expecting you to give me that answer. I have got nothing at all.
It's really not seemed to put a foot wrong so far, Damien.
He hasn't. Not at all.
Very solidly out front there. 27 seconds the gap now. Just putting a lap there on Darren Jones, I believe it was. Darren having to pit, I think, after that contact with the wall early on in the race.
Yeah, that's not going to make Darren happy at all. Obviously, Darren was the guys that were in the car that unfortunately made contact with a back marker towards the beginning of Tom Venter's stint, and they were hoping to kind of make a better impression today. Unfortunately, Oulton Park has claimed another victim there, but there's still time. I mean, I can't see them vying for the lead, not being a lap down already, but they can still pull up this up the field quite well. I'm sure there'll be plenty of other mistakes coming from other drivers.
Exactly. There's plenty of time left in this race. If they can keep it solid from here, they've got every chance of still getting a decent result. Maybe their strategy in this one was to not take any time penalties into round 3 at Nürburgring.
Yes, yeah, that's a very good point. So I've just jumped on board with Wilf Padano, who is coming up to the back of the Porsche driven by Kroos. How do you pronounce it again?
Kroos, I believe.
Kroos, okay. So yeah, Wilf obviously is recovering after his slight mishap from the lead of the race. He was all the way down on, was he 12th, I think? Maybe a little bit further than that, and he's up in 5th at the moment.
Yeah, so good recovery. Obviously, he's still going to have that 15 seconds at the pit stop, though, which, with where he is right now, is probably going to drop him down to about P8, P9, somewhere in that region. So yeah, he'll be looking to carry on moving forward and hope that field spreads out a bit more, so it doesn't have so many positions to make up in the second stint.
Yeah, it's all to play for, and those penalties, as you said right at the start of the race, Matt, really kind of helping to bring the field in, improve the racing for everybody, and it looks like, yeah, it's certainly going to have that effect with that car there.
Yeah, really unfortunate to have that 15-second penalty and then make a mistake like they did on lap 1. Really makes it an uphill battle for them from here, but obviously we saw their pace in the last race and their pace in this race so far today, so doesn't seem to be hampering them too much so far, let's say.
No, not at all. And obviously we've got the same thing with Darren Jones, who we saw kind of drop to the back of the field not too long ago. He's got a penalty to serve as well.
Well, he'll have already served that at the first pit stop that he did, so...
okay, so
I believe that's cleared now, because they took the early pit stop there, so they'll still have to do the pit stop for the driver change during the pit window, but yeah, they've already served that penalty now, so...
okay, I thought it was only applied to the driver swap, so that's interesting. So, okay. So they are kind of, their position on in the grid is representative of where they're going to be.
Taking a move here, a little bit deep, but gets the job done just about there. Over the curb, just about manages to hold on to it. A little bit of a lunge there, but like I was saying before, really not wanting to get held up, wanting to carry on with that forward progress, and try and build up as much of a gap on some of these cars so that after that 15-second penalty, not as much overtaking required.
Yeah, I think it's fortunate that Kroos there in the Porsche was compliant. He could have tried to hang it out, I think, around a little bit on the back there, but clearly knowing his stuff, knowing if I stay there, we're going to have an accident. Let's fight it out another day. Or alternatively, he's not my fight anyway. So that was good racing by the two of them.
Exactly. Knowing the drivers in that car, Kroos and Daz Young, they'll be now aiming to just stay within that 15-second gap behind Paduano, and then hopefully manage to keep him behind in the second stint.
And what that's done, that overtake there, that's brought Mark Jones just over a second off the back of that Porsche. So he's going to be hoping to have a little taste of the rear bumper, as Wilf has just done. So I think he's been slowly bringing that gap down. Yeah, it's under a second now, I think, as they exit the hairpin there. Sorry, not the hairpin, the chicane. So yeah, Kroos needs to get his head back down again, I think, and try and keep Mark Jones behind him. Not let the overtake that Wilf has just done upset him too much.
And then that Porsche as well, not necessarily the best car on tyres either, so maybe starting to get a bit more tyre wear in that car than some of the other cars around at this point, especially with the couple of times he's run a little bit wide and got a little bit sideways. Those rear tyres, especially on that Porsche, probably not super happy. Shouldn't be terrible by this point, but maybe a little bit more worn than some of the other cars around.
It's fine, he's only got another 28 minutes to go. He'll be fine. As we say, that Mark Jones now is just 3/4 of a second behind, so he does seem to be catching probably sort of 3 or 4 tenths, maybe a lap. Actually no, the last lap was actually only 1/10, so I apologise there.
Has closed up to 4 tenths behind there at the start of this lap, so again, interesting to see the difference between these cars. Probably the Porsche a little bit quicker in the middle sector, and the Lamborghini able to close up in that first sector. We'll see if Aurelia and Kroos can pull that gap again in the middle sector.
Yeah, we're riding on board with Mark Jones at the moment, just to get kind of like a driver's eye view of what it's like to chase into the car. It's a quick little track, this.
Yeah, so it's very quick and technical. Some very tight and twisty corners. Not much room to run off track either. Not many places where you can really run off without it affecting your lap time.
No, or as Darren Jones has found out, not far to run off until you find a barrier.
That's also true, but I thought I'd let you mention that one.
Oh well, yeah. If I say bad things, as Mark Jones takes a dive up the inside, it looks like there was a touch of contact.
A little bit of contact there.
So we're just going to look at the replay as they come down the back straight towards this final corner.
Yeah, I think Mark knowing there he maybe a little bit too last gasp on that, and letting Aurelia and Kroos go again into turn 1. Fair racing. I think he knows he made a little bit of a mistake there and just letting the Porsche back past.
That was very fair racing. I'm not entirely sure I'd have let it past, but so that sets Mark thinking with his head. Good sportsmanship.
Definitely.
He's also advertised where he's planning on overdoing the overtake as well, so he's going to have to think of a different corner now.
Probably one of the few corners where an overtake is possible. Looks like we've got a yellow flag for Francesco Sala there.
Yeah.
Just jumping back. Yeah, running wide in turn 1.
I think he took too much curb on
tyre barriers. Yeah.
I think he took too much curb on the way in on the apex, which pushed him a touch wide.
Just a little touch on the barriers, so shouldn't be too much damage on that car. And he gets it going again.
Yeah, and it was to the side of the car as well, which tends not to destroy the aerodynamics, which obviously these GT3 cars rely on quite heavily. Depending on what car you've got, either a touch to the front or the back can really destroy. You're always Mark Jones is having another look down the inside of that final corner. A little bit more cautious this time, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit more, yeah.
And just looking slightly further ahead, we have got Wilf Padano in that AMG all the way up to 4th position now, just half a second from Cow in the Big Brain AMG, I believe.
No, SSGS.
I apologise to both teams.
Yeah, so inter-team battle here. Wolf Pedrano on Chris Cow. Wonder if there's any team orders going to come into play, or whether it's a more ferocious battle because it's teammates. It's always an interesting one to see.
That's a very good question. I don't think we've got any rules against that, have we? Maybe we should make some.
No rules.
Oh yeah,
it looks like they're actually letting team orders, letting them go there.
So it's clearly Wilf that holds the purse strings in that team.
Yeah, I guess Chris sensible probably from Chris Cow as well. Let Wolf Pradano go, knowing that he's the faster driver, at least at this point in the race. No point really hampering his own race from defending and losing time.
I've just had a comment.
Well in P4.
Just had a comment in the Twitch channel. I'm assuming it was in response to the two teammates there getting past each other. Apparently, they don't like each other very much. It didn't look like that on track, and obviously that is not me. That's not confirmed by anybody other than somebody in the Twitch chat. But that would be interesting. He was certainly very respectful, letting his teammate through. That's all I'll say. Apart from what I just said, obviously.
Definitely.
So
I'm just going to step aside for 2 minutes. So I'll be back. I'll be back shortly.
No problem at all. And as you say that, we'll just cut to Mark Jones, just 2.2 seconds off the back of Kroos in the Porsche. Mark seems to get quite a bit of overspeed coming into these corners, but he's just ran a touch wide. So Mark was closing up, I think, on the back straight and run into the final corner. So let's see whether he keep nice and close. Oh, I think my voice went up a couple of octaves then, as I thought Mark was going to run straight into the back of the Porsche. So he needs to stay close through this next sections of corners. That's it, through a quicker right hand. Really important to get the exit of this corner just right as you're running all the way up the hill. So here we come up to Watchtower corner, I think, maybe, or Lookout Tower, something like that. Oh, and Cross goes sailing off in the Porsche. Clearly quite a lot of pressure that Mark Jones has been putting on. And he is through. I think Kroos managed to keep it out of the wall. Yeah, he's back up and running. That's a good overtake from Mark Jones, keeping the pressure on. And we have got another couple of Bal here. So we've got Baldo in the BMW, right on the back of the Porsche of Niza. So this is a Bal I didn't see starting, but he's all over the back of him at the moment. And we've had another comment on the Twitch channel to say car number 11, who is our second place runner, is on 3 track cut warnings already. Ouch. So just to let you know, so you get 3 track warnings, and then if you get a 4th, I think, chat, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the 4th that gives you a drive-through penalty and starts that count again. And a drive-through penalty here is probably, I'm going to guess, at around about 25 to 30 seconds of time lost driving through the pits at that slower speed. So just a little bit further down the field, we've got the Ferrari of Balzano EOS. That's the EOS racing team. It's caused the yellow flag. And as I looked away, the BMW slid off track. So most of the cars now have got a couple of seconds either side of them. Obviously we're watching the closest battle at the moment. Touch further back, we have got Raymond Camps kind of collecting after those couple of mistakes that he made on the Audi of Amaral. He is 4 seconds down. Let's see whether we can bring those timings up for you. There you go. So this what battle we're watching at the moment, the Baldo BMW versus the Mesa Porsche. Still the best one. Up ahead, Damien is now a good 36 seconds in the lead. So let's have a look a little bit further down the field while we've got nothing brewing. We'll flip back to Barbaro in the Porsche. We haven't seen much of him. He's currently running in P16. Quite a way down, unfortunately. He's a good 3 laps down, so clearly spent some time in the pits. And then just ahead of him in P15 we have got Peter, one of the pseudo drivers, who's normally got a very interesting livery on his car. Yeah, my face is on there somewhere. I'm not going to give you a close-up though. And then this is the Ferrari of Balzano from the EOS Racing team. He is in P14. 2 laps down currently.
I'm back in the commentary booth.
Welcome. We were just giving a quick rundown from the back to the front, as we've not seen a lot of the cars at the back so much. And we're just having a quick look at the cars. Everything is fairly static at the moment. We've got the the BMW of Baldo was pushing quite hard on the rear of the Porsche of Misa, but he's dropped back just a little touch now. I think maybe a little bit of tiredness is creeping in. Maybe those tyres are slowly starting to wear out.
Yeah, I think probably that point in this first stint now where it's kind of look after what you've got, look after the car and the tyres, get to that pit stop and make that driver swap.
Indeed. So if you're struggling with tyres here, Matt, so obviously technically you could swap exactly on the 1 hour mark. If you're struggling in your first stint here, what are you going to do? Do you want to come in early, knowing that you're going to end up giving the second stint driver an even tougher task than the one you faced? Do you come in a little bit later to give him some better tyres to fight with? What would you do?
I think it really... I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all solution, to be honest. I think each team should know probably better than us watching kind of which driver might be slightly better or worse on tyres. I mean, it's always a bit of a gamble coming in early, although obviously with the pit window you can't come in super early. So the difference between 55 and 65 minutes shouldn't be massive around here. But obviously, if say you are suffering from pressure loss, you might suddenly find that the second driver can gain quite a lot of time by having those new tyres on that are at the right pressure. But obviously, they then have 65 minutes potentially to try and look after those tyres, keep them off the curbs, and try and make the most out of them.
So is that a conversation that's going on probably between the drivers most of the race? Kind of how the car feels, what they should be doing on tyres. Is the second driver maybe coaching the first driver? Is that something that happens?
It can be, yeah. Yeah, definitely can be. And again, I think each team will probably be a little bit unique in how they operate. And like if let's say the first driver in now is their faster driver, and the slower driver is getting in the second stint, they might be at this point trying to extend this first stint to that 65-minute point, so that the second slower driver can then have only that 55-minute stint at the end instead of having to do an hour or longer. So I think there will be a lot of conversations going on between the teams at the minute, or between the drivers in each team, just discussing how the car's feeling, what the pressures are like, if they are suffering any pressure loss. Even if there's some damage on the car as well, that can play into it. If there's a bit of damage that's affecting performance, maybe they might come in at that 55-minute mark, get that damage repaired, and give the second driver a run at it without the damage. They might come in and not repair the damage, not wanting to lose the extra time in the pit stop. I say there'll be a lot of conversations going on at this point, I'm sure.
So we were just on board with car 282, who I'd like to tell you who that was, but I now need to look through my list. They've just disconnected, unfortunately. Car 282.
That was the SSGS car, I believe. They finished third place last week. Who was the driver in that car? From memory. Can't remember from memory. But if you've got the list in front of you.
Yeah, so that was... so that was Chris Cow. We've watched quite a lot.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we were literally on board with him as he shot through the trees and over the lake, which is not a normal racing line. So that's really unfortunate. So I don't know whether they had a computer issue or just a network dropout. But they were... I can't remember where they were now. I think they were sort of fourth, maybe, I think.
Fourth or fifth, somewhere in that ballpark, I think.
Yeah, so that is unfortunate.
We have also had a message in chat as well. The number 11 car, the Big Brain Racing car, they're now on 3 track cut warnings. So that's something we haven't really talked about so far in the commentary. Is some of the track warnings around this track are quite strict. If you run slightly too wide on the exit of a corner, especially turn 1 and Druid's Corner especially, amongst a few other places as well. But those two especially come to mind. Quite easy to pick up those track warnings, and with an hour and 12 minutes to go, being on 3 track warnings really puts a lot of pressure on the second driver.
Yeah, that's right. We did actually talk about that just as the chat came up, but we didn't mention the corners. I always seem to get caught the Britain's hairpin. Sorry, chicane here. Okay. That's the one that always gets me. But yeah, you're right. So I wouldn't like to be carrying 3 penalties. 3 warnings around here. Certainly not for that long time, because it is very easy just to run that touch wide. A Super GT would say just 1 pixel. They haven't got any more leeway anymore.
No, exactly. So that then affects potentially the way that the second driver races once he gets into the car as well, because the last thing you want is to get that drive-through penalty. I'm just going to tell you what the pit loss is around here for a drive-through once it loads up.
Yes, please do, because I had a bit of a guess. So it'll be good to see how far out I am.
Oulton Park for a drive-through. That can't be right.
Just while you're looking at that, Matt, so I was just having a look at Wolf Badano. After his early spin, he's all the way back up to P3 now, and only 1.9 seconds from Athenstat in the Lamborghini. So he has made a brilliant recovery, showing that it's possible. He's put in some real work, but with Athenstat still being almost 40 seconds now off the lead, it's going to take a miracle, I think, to get any higher than second.
Yeah. So saying on this handy sheet that I've got that it's only 14 seconds lost for a drive-through, but I don't think that's quite right. Although having said that, yeah, I think that is probably about right. If you look at Car 305, I know they had a drive-through early on, and their time in the pits was 14 seconds exactly. So 14 second loss for a drive-through. So not as bad as on some tracks, but still not something you really want to be having.
That's definitely exactly the figure that I said. Please, nobody scroll back through the Twitch feed. I definitely 100% said 14 seconds. Give or take 11. Okay, moving on. So we've still got Wilf pushing on, dropping down to just second, 1.2 now behind P2. So this is a battle that is hotting up while the rest of the field really are kind of consolidating their position. Wolf clearly wants to rectify his earlier mistake.
And interestingly as well, he has pulled a 17.5 second gap to Mark Jones in 4th as well. So
I'm just
currently looking like he's not going to lose any positions in that pit stop with that 15 second success penalty.
Yeah, I just jumped back to watch the McLaren 720 of Salah. Unfortunately, make a mistake at the back end of the field. Just put a couple of wheels on the grass on the outside and spin as a result.
Managed to keep it out of the wall, though, luckily for them.
They did indeed. Although now looking straight back again to P3 and Wilf Padano in the AMG. He's now just half a second from the back of that Lamborghini. So he's definitely pushing on. Maybe the Lamborghini is suffering a touch with tyres. I didn't believe the AMG was brilliant on tyres. He's clearly made it work around here.
Well, remember that number 11 car is the one that's on 3 track cut warnings.
Yes.
So perhaps not using all of the track at this point, just trying to make sure they don't get that drive through. It does look like the 282 car is back on track now. So obviously they've recovered from the disconnect.
That's good. That's good to see them
down in P15 at the minute, but it's still a long way to go from this point. Even though they're a couple of laps down, still a long way to go. They can probably still recover and get some decent points.
Yeah, we're just watching car number 23 of Peter, just on the run up the back hill, just running a touch wide. Man, I think you said earlier that those curbs just want to pull you off wide, and they certainly did pull Peter off.
Not in a good way.
Thank you for saying that. I was hoping you were going to make some sort of comment. So now we've got two battles hotting up. We've got Darren Jones recovering to just 0.4 of a second behind Raymond Camps. Both of those two cars pseudo racing, and we've got that battle still of Wilf Padano behind Athenstat in the Lamborghini, the big brain Lamborghini for P2.
So that's a good recovery from Darren Jones there. Obviously dropping all the way back with that early pit stop, having to repair the damage. Back up to P10. So yeah, good recovery, and still a long way to go. So interesting to see how high up they can climb from there.
Yeah, definitely. Both of these cars being very respectful. They're probably running the same setup. I don't think I'm giving too much away. But they're good friends. These guys race together quite a lot, so I'm sure it'll be kept nice and clean. But this is for honour. Yeah, so rising up the back of the hill, coming into, is this Watchtower corner or Lookout Tower? It's something like that. Oh,
Water Tower, I believe.
That's close enough. As unfortunately Ray just succumbs to the pressure of Daz behind him. Yeah, ran a little bit wide, let him through. Maybe that was orchestrated because the no team orders aren't possible.
Quite possibly.
So we'll jump all the way back forward then to P3. Wolf is still behind Athenstat in the Lamborghini, who's been doing a very stout job of his defence. Given the pace advantage that Wolf had, he's been behind this Lamborghini now for quite a number of laps.
Yeah, Brina he's been hitting all his braking points, getting on the throttle early and at the right point, and just doing a good job so far.
There's not many cars in the field that can out-drag Mercedes, but the Lamborghini certainly seems to be holding its own this part in the race.
Seems to, and like we were saying earlier, there's not really any super long straights here, so probably not quite the advantage that you get in the AMG on certain other tracks.
No, indeed, this looks to be a good battle. Both of these drivers have proven themselves to be very clean racing, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this one pans out. So we're only 30 seconds now away from the earliest point that drivers can make a driver swap, and that'd be their last pit stop of the race. So it'll be interesting to see who comes in early, who comes in late, and really how that shakes up the grid. Is the undercut much of a thing on this track, do you think, Matt?
I think it definitely can be, especially with being now at 55 minutes into this race, and we know a lot of teams have got problems with pressure loss. Obviously, some teams have the issues with track cut warnings. I wouldn't be surprised to see Padano dive straight into the pits at the end of this lap. Personally, I think it's worth trying. Obviously, like you just said, he's been sat behind behind Reina for a number of laps now, not being able to find a way past. I think it's worth trying, but that'll be a conversation that Pradano and his teammate Matthew Heaven will be having. Looks like he's staying out for at least one more lap at this point. Yeah, that'll be it'd be interesting to be a fly on the wall of that conversation.
I've just jumped back down. Darren Jones is pretty much side by side in his Lamborghini on the Audi of Amaral in P8. He's dropped a touch further back now, but he's really putting the pressure on. Obviously, having made that stop a little bit earlier on, he still needs to come in sometime in the next 8 minutes.
Oh, a spun car there. That was Chris Marsden, I believe.
Let's have a quick look what happened there.
But we do have Mark Jones and Aurelian Kroos both taking the pit stop at the earliest opportunity, so they're both in the pits now, as is Peter Akaray.
So what we had a little bit of a lull, sort of 5 laps ago, and then suddenly it's all kicked off right at the end of this stint. Darren Jones still trying to find a way past Amaral's Audi.
And Pradano's got past Reina there, but I believe it may have been off track, so we might have to give that position back there.
Yeah, we're just watching that on the replay right now, Matt. So he's gone sailing up the inside.
Runs deep, goes across the grass. He's going to have to give that position back there.
Which he has done already, so that's good. And
looks like there's some damage on that AMG again there. Has he... has something else happened a bit later on the lap?
You keep an eye on that. I'm just watching Darren Jones manage to get past the Audi. And we're just watching that on the replay.
Oh, contact between Reina Athenstadt and Wolf Pradano. So letting Reina past and then trying to dive back into the slipstream behind him makes contact with the rear quarter panel of the Lamborghini there. Both hitting the wall. Probably a little bit harder from the AMG than the Lambo, but both of them in the pits now.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, there they are.
And just to add insult to everyone else's race, Damien Konchak's just set the fastest lap of the race.
He's doing a Max Verstappen, is he?
Yeah.
His last lap, so therefore use every single bit of tyre that's left. And Mark Jones joins us on Twitch. Mark, great stint, buddy. You really finished that stint off fantastic. Well done. Let us know how you found the race in chat. So what have we got? So
I'm just watching the pair of Reina Athenstadt and Wolf Pradano in the pits just to see where they come out. Obviously, I think with that contact with the wall, I suspect they're both going to have to repair some damage here. Looks like Reina's got going. Pradano still obviously has that 15-second penalty to serve as well, which doesn't help. But yeah, it looks like Athenstadt's dropped behind.
So yeah, Diego Cozzolino. So that is Mark Jones's teammate. Nice to see him turn up for this race. Well done, Diego.
And he's also dropped behind the 92 car now being driven by Darryl Young as well, the Wild Things Racing team there. So they lost a couple of positions there with having to repair damage from that contact. So I'm sure there'll be some work for the stewards to do after the race.
Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, I was going to sit down and carry on drinking my vodka, but clearly we've got work to do. That's fine. So
well, it's a reporting system, so we wait till it's reported.
Oh, okay, all right. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
We just heard back from Mark Jones, who was driving the 37 Lamborghini. He says he made a few mistakes, but really enjoyed his stint. Tyres he was really struggling with towards the end of the race, which I think we're going to hear are a lot from that. We've also got.
I think so.
We've also got Peter Akiri in the chat as well. He said the word shit. I believe I can say that on Twitch. But yeah. Bad luck, Peter. You got stuck in there, mate. You had not the easiest stint in the world, but you made it through. Okay, so what have we got?
Davide Baldo in the pits now in that number 46 gold liveried BMW. Just leaving, so who's yet to make a pit stop?
So Damien.
Damien Konchak still to pit. Oscar Meza in P2 still to pit. And Raymond Camps in P4 still to pit. So I believe they're the only ones left to pit, at least of the front runners.
So, just looking down. Okay, I was just thinking I could see a fantastic move, but it was the car going into the pits. So I got excited all over nothing. Not the first time. So did you say? Sorry, the front two are still to come in. Did you say? Sorry, then, Matt.
Yes, front 1, 2, and 4 still to pit.
Okay, so they have got, another 3.5 minutes.
Yep.
So realistically, it's either this lap or the next. Or they're going to get a 130-second penalty, I believe. Or is it disqualification for not making the pit?
They'll get a drive-through for not making the pit timer. Or the pit window.
Okay, understood. So we've got Raymond Camps in the pits now, as we talk about him.
I would probably say, looking at where Damien is on track, he might be able to get one more lap in, but it's tight. I think probably going to be this lap that he'll be looking at pitting.
Yep, so as he comes up the hill into the water tower corner from memory, through Druids.
Yep.
Brilliant corner to stand on if you can get somewhere there to watch, if you are lucky enough to be at the track. All the way down into the final corner, which is that one with that massive elevation change. Is he going to go in the pits? If he is, he's going to hang on right.
No, he's going to take one more lap. So he does have 2 minutes 10 left to do. So yeah, one more lap's actually pretty doable. So yeah, really pushing it right to the end of this stint timer. This is what I was saying before, where when you know one driver is particularly faster than the other, it is the right strategy call to leave that faster driver out longer, and the slightly slower driver, you give them less work to do then in that second stint.
That's right. So yeah, Damien leaving it to the last minute. He's going to have a pretty healthy lead in P2 when the second driver comes out, but clearly wanting to make the most of the opportunity of the faster driver. Yeah, this should be interesting. I'm really interested to see who can move where in this second half of the race. So yeah, we've had P2 in the pits now. So yeah, literally just Damien out on track, still to come in.
Last one to pit.
Jump on the bonnet with him through these last few corners. So this could hamper him. He's got a car slowing down on the inside, which is where he needs to be to get into the pits, but he's safely past him, thankfully, before the final corner. Through Deer's Leap. Yep, hanging close to the right-hand side. Hit the brakes. Get down at 50 kilometers an hour before that line. And yeah, that looked like a very good pit.
Yeah, definitely. What I would just say as well, or is it Tom Venters? Obviously, they've had to do 2 pit stops. Currently find themselves in P6, so very good recovery from the 84 Lamborghini there.
Yeah, it's very good. At just 0.6 of a second behind Mary in the Porsche, the 306 Porsche, just ahead of him. So Tom getting thrown into the action the minute he jumps in the car.
And not the easiest of tracks to get thrown straight into the action on either.
No, not at all. But I do know Tom's been doing a decent amount of practice, so he races us a lot as well, and he's quite a lot quicker than most of us. So he's used to getting past people on these tracks. Well, I think maybe I should give all the drivers in this race a time penalty for tomorrow in our league race, because clearly they've been putting extra practice in. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I think that's only fair, right?
So a couple of minutes each?
I mean, how much do you need to win?
About half an hour. I'm not going to be winning. But no, it's. I managed to keep Daz behind me. Actually, I was racing Daz on this very track on, I think, Sunday, and I managed to keep it behind me. Granted, I was on virtually no fuel and he was on a full tank, but he was still behind me. Don't take this away from me.
Okay.
Those
little victories, that's what you got to take.
Yeah, if I don't take those, Matt, I've got nothing.
It's sort of like Tom's looking to make a move now into Hislops.
Yeah, he's got the
inside. Ooh, a little bit of contact.
Let's have a quick look back at that. See,
not quite. Yeah, probably not quite enough overlap there to warrant having to leave space on the inside, but always risky closing the door.
Yeah.
Just sticks the nose in and not really quite enough alongside there, unfortunately.
This may well be a difference in our league rules, Matt, because we have a rear tyre to front tyre overlap is considered alongside. Maybe you guys have got something a touch different.
We're front tyres to driver's head usually, I think.
Okay. So yeah, a big chunk of difference. So what would be fine in our league, clearly not good in your league. We'll see. We'll see. Tom's a very clean driver, so he wouldn't have done something that he didn't think he could do. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, and nothing bad came of it, so yeah.
Yeah, he's back there again.
Battle resumed.
Yeah, just coming through Shell Oil Corner from memory, which is the hairpin.
Yep.
Tom sticking to the back end of this Porsche like glue.
Yeah, needs a good exit now out of Britain's, which it looks like he gets.
He's got a steamer, so yeah, maybe up the inside again. Interesting to see the Porsche is not covering that inside line. Yeah. So
Comes a bit deep there, that Porsche.
Yeah. Tom's forced a mistake.
There,
yeah. That was good driving by both of those guys then, I think.
Yeah, nice and clean.
Tom managed
a yellow flag from the number 46 BMW. That's at Britain's as well. Just taking a bit too much curb there. Yeah, just a little bit too much curb on the second part of that corner. Just the back end coming round. I don't think there was any contact there. It just, I think it got very close.
Yeah, it's that inside curb that's taken quite a few scalps already today, hasn't it?
Yeah. We do now have Matthew Heaven in that number 470 SGSS Racing AMG right up behind Wojciech Nowrecki now in the number 47 Big Brain Racing Audi.
Yeah, we just jumped on board with him, and if you look at the onboard, there's quite a bit of damage to the front of the AMG. The bonnet's bouncing around all over the place. So I don't know whether these two guys have touched. They were getting very close through that corner.
Very close there, yeah. Yeah, it seems like that number 470 car's been on recovery drive after recovery drive today, unfortunately for them. So
character building, Matt. That's what that is, character building.
Exactly. They'll know they've had a race after today, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct. Yeah, still plenty of racing to go there, so he's dropping just a touch back now, but he's been able to close relatively quickly on the back of that Audi. Let's just hope these guys keep it nice and clean.
So currently, and you're right about the damage on the front of that AMG. Looking from the offboard, it looks like there's quite a decent air gap between the front bumper and the bonnet. So obviously they've had a little bit of contact somewhere, whether that's with another car or with a tyre barrier somewhere or a wall. I'm not quite sure. We didn't catch that on stream. But still does seem to have the pace over the Audi at this point.
Yeah, I'm just looking right at the back of the Audi, and it doesn't seem to be too scuffed up. So I don't think it was kind of nose to tail incident between these two guys. But yeah, you never know. It's been a long race.
just had our fastest lap of this second half of the race from Darrell Young in that number 92 Wild Things Racing Porsche. 133.9. We've got a move from Heaven on the inside of turn 1.
Yeah.
Nice move that, really nice.
Yeah,
nice
just,
and clean.
Exactly, yeah.
Just about enough room.
Kept the inside line and just let the other guy go where he wanted to. It was the longer way round. That was a good move. We've also got in P4 number 11 Lamborghini of the Burin.
Yep, Martin the Burin.
Just 0.6 of a second off Diego Cozzolino, who was Mark Jones's is Mark Jones's teammate, should I say? These two guys, both in the same machinery. It's really just down on the drive of this battle, so this will be interesting to watch.
Yep, and obviously, interestingly, we know that the number 11 car there is on those 3 track warnings, so obviously we don't know how many track warnings Cozzolino has, or has from the first stint.
I tell you what, let me find out. Mark, if you're still in Twitch chat, buddy, how many warnings did you get in your first stint? We'll see whether that comes back. Get some inside information.
Get some insider information.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does look at the minute like I say, Morton has closed that gap up, but it doesn't seem too much to choose between them at the minute.
So Peter, who was driving the Ferrari, the number 23 Ferrari, says he had 0 track cuts.
Okay. So maybe a little bit of an advantage there for the number 37 car there.
Yeah, well, he's certainly got that little bit of extra kind of leeway of being able to make a mistake and not getting punished for it. So that's, number 11. Next mistake he makes, that's 14 seconds wasted through the pits. Oh, we're getting complimented in the Twitch chat, Matt. Apparently we are doing great. That feels a little patronising, actually, Esther.
No, I appreciate the feedback. Does look like there's something happened to our lead car here.
Okay, let's.
Has there been a disconnect from?
Let me have a
from Rhino Sullivan there.
Quick look at the log. Yes, indeed. Oh, that is unfortunate. So, car 777 of Rhino Sullivan from the lead disconnected. Yeah, about 30 seconds ago. Well spotted. Oh. Guys, that is really, really unfortunate. Hopefully you can get back in and carry on with the race. Plenty of points still available to you guys if you can get back in, although you may not be able to hear me now, I accept that. That is really unfortunate. Okay, Esther, I apologise. I will take the fucking compliment. Sorry. Yeah, so that's awful from P1 to be getting a disconnect.
Yeah, definitely, real bad luck. Just jumped on Ryan's stream there because I don't think he was aware he was still driving around. So just letting him know there that unfortunately I had to disconnect and needs to get back in there. So, race leader now, Darrell Young in that number 92 Wild Things Racing Porsche. Leading the way from Cozzolino in the number 37 Lamborghini. That's Pseudo, right? Pseudo Racing.
It is indeed. Yes, thank you for remembering.
And then looks like, right behind him we've got Morton de Boeren still chasing him down. We're still on board with that at the minute.
So Ryan O'Sullivan has been able to rejoin the car 77 who was in the lead. He's currently sat in the pits.
Yep, his controls will be locked for a set amount of time now until he'll be able to rejoin the race, but luckily managed to get back in. There's still points on offer, so see what they can do from there in that car.
Yes, yeah, that's really unfortunate. Quick question, actually, Mal, on the rules. Could they swap drivers again?
Not in the pits, they won't be able to. So what it typically does when you join in the race, you can't do the driver swap in the pit lane. You have to drive at least one lap to be able to do that driver swap.
Okay. So they're still awaiting in the pits. They've dropped down to 10th position at the moment, a lap down. Still plenty of points on offer for. We've got the. Sorry, just to cut myself short there. We've got the gold BMW causing a yellow flag, which we're just watching on stream now. Runs wide and
losing the rear on entry, and then never really manages to recover it throughout the corner.
Yeah. And jumping all the way back up to P3, which is I can't read the first name, the Burin. I definitely can see just half a second away from the back of Diego Cozzolino now in the lead pseudo car.
Yeah, still remaining extremely close between these two drivers.
Yeah, it seems to be ebbing and flowing at the moment. They kind of get a little bit of gap between them, and then they kind of pull themselves back next to each other. This could be all stint, this little battle.
It's looking that way at the minute, for sure. Still just under 43 minutes to go in this race, and really nothing to choose between these two at the minute.
No, and that would be one hell of a result. I know Mark Jones, as you'll all know him, is in the Twitch chat at the moment.
A little bit twitchy there. Let Morton get through there. Just took a little bit too much curve. The car bounced up in the air and then wouldn't re-engage the aero there for a second.
Oh yes, yeah, big clip on the right on the back side of the curb.
That's that curb I was talking about before the race there as well. The one that likes to suck you in and upsettle the car. So yeah, big mistake there from Cozzolino.
It did.
Does look at the minute like he's able to stick with Morton now.
Yes, I was going to say it's well, obviously that's a touch annoying. He's not binned it. He's still right there, and he's closing the gap up massively through braking into that corner there. But yeah, don't deny us of this battle. Keep with it. They're racing brilliantly at the moment between the two. I briefly just saw a yellow flag for Alessandro Murgia in one of the other pseudo cars, the Lamborghini 182. I'm not looking away from this battle, so I'm not going to check what happened.
No, it does look like whatever happened, they got going again as well. So maybe just ran a little bit wide in one of the chicanes or something. Only flicks up that yellow flag for a second or so. So yeah, something minor, I think.
And Daz, who was driving the number 80 for Lamborghini, Darren Jones has joined us in chat as well. Yeah, hoping for a good finish. You did well, Darren. Well done.
Yeah, nicely done in that first stint.
So where are we? So yeah, Tom Venters. This battle we're watching between Cozzolino and the Burin. All three Lamborghinis together. Tom is slowly catching up. He's currently in P4, looking at to get up to the back of Cozzolino in P3, which should make this battle nice and spicy if it wasn't spicy enough.
A little bit wide there from Cozzolino on the exit of first on turn one there. Just drops in out of the slipstream now behind Morton. But yeah, Tom Venters closing that gap. Just gained 1.3 seconds on Cozzolino and a second on Morton that last lap. So definitely got time to catch that gap. Although the gap being 17 seconds at the minute, I think there's definitely going to be more than 17 laps left in this race from this point.
That's right. He was 0.9 of a second faster on that last lap. So yeah, it's going to take, what was that, 19 laps? Have we got 19 laps? No.
It's going to be close, but both these two just lost a bunch of time behind the back marker there. The 307 car of Gregorelli, and that's closed the gap up between Morton and Cozzolino to 0.6 of a second again. Be interested to see their lap times now. That gap down to Venters in fourth, now only just under 16 seconds. So I think these two have lost a second and a half, if not 2 seconds, behind that back marker.
Yeah.
Let's just get their lap times as they come to cross the line. So Morton crosses the line with a 36.9. 36.7, and Cozzolino with a 36.9. So a little bit of a gap now before we get Tom Venter's time, but I suspect he's probably going to have closed. Yeah, it's 34.3 he comes across the line, so 2.5 seconds he's closed the gap on that last lap.
Wow, and that was obviously including both of those guys slowing each other down massively. So, yeah, it's certainly all on, I think, isn't it? And what I mean, could Tom Venters possibly get P2? It's catching them's one thing, but as we've seen quite a few times already in this race, getting past them is very different indeed. Yes,
and especially I know we've seen some teammates let each other pass earlier in this race, but I think when Tom Venters gets up to the back of Cozzolino, it's not going to be anywhere near as friendly when there's a podium on the line.
No, not at all. Not at all. So just looking down the grid, we've got kind of fairly static gaps through everybody else. O'Sullivan in the car 777 Lamborghini, who was in the lead, currently still sat in P12, 46 seconds behind P11. So that's going to be a tall order. What was their last lap time?
He gained about 1.5 seconds on the last lap, but yeah, not going to be enough. At that pace differential, there's not going to be enough time for that gap to close. But you know, anything can still happen.
Yeah, and as we've seen, there's plenty of mistakes still to be had, I'm sure, with 37 minutes of the race left to go. So yeah, anything could happen. Just looking up, so Diego Cozzolino is now 2.2 seconds from P2, so he's dropping back not quite quickly. He seems to be ebbing and flowing around the 2 second mark, so that seems to have stabilised.
Yeah. I think while he was in the slipstream, was able to stay with Morton. Now that he's dropped back, it's maybe a tenth or two a lap. He's a little bit slower, but we'll see. Maybe he's looking after the tyres a little bit better at this point, and it'll come back to him towards the end of the race. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
He's an Italian. I don't think he understands looking after tyres.
It's flat out at all times.
Yes. What is that right pedal for, other than bashing through the firewall? That seems reasonable.
Plenty of hand signals as well, I assume.
Only one hand signal, but very, very frequently. It's okay. He's told me real Italians like pineapple on their pizza. So he's a good Italian in my book.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Real Italians like pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, it's basically a tradition. I'm going to get such a nasty message when he listens back to this race. Hey, at least he turned up this race, so it's okay.
There we go, we got the pineapple pizzas in chat.
Excellent. We need that emoji. Excellent.
I could eat a pizza right now, I'm not going to lie.
I've cooked 2 pizzas today, Matt, and I didn't get to eat either one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A yellow flag for Ryan O'Sullivan there.
Yes, we were literally just on board with him.
Just runs a little bit wide, does he?
He was coming past.
Gets clipped by the back marker as he comes past. Little touch of the wall there, but shouldn't be a huge amount of damage on there, I don't think, luckily.
And he has disconnected.
Looks like he's had a disconnect again.
Oh dear. It goes from bad to worse. So, having a flip through. We've got Heaven in the AMG just slowly closing in on Murray in the Porsche. So that's for P5 and 6. I got another yellow flag. Sorry,
AMG is still not looking particularly healthy, is it?
No,
Yeah,
not at all.
yellow flag for the 305 car of Alessio Believe.
Indeed, yeah. So it looks like again he's fallen foul of Britain's chicane.
Yep, those curbs are very very extreme through there.
So back to Heaven in P6. Yeah, he's bringing the gap down. He was 1.2 seconds faster than P5 last lap. So he seems to be winning. He's only 2.3 seconds behind.
Yeah, P5 currently occupied by Luca Mari in the 306 ERC Sports Racing Porsche. Yeah, Tom Venters really closing that gap on Cozzolino for P3 and P4 as well. The gap now down to 12.6 seconds. Gained another 1.2 last lap around. So we've got some battles forming in the closing stages of this race.
Yep, it's certainly looking like it's all going to come together in the last 10 minutes or so. By the looks of it, certainly with Tom.
I think so. I think Matthew Heaven will probably close in on Luca Mari a little bit quicker than that. But yeah, definitely the battle for the podium, probably the last 5-10 minutes, could be critical.
We just had another yellow flag, just very briefly for Camuso in the gold BMW. I think he just ran wide and has got back on his way again.
Yeah,
nice
a little bit wide through the gravel. Yep, gets going again, so no problem there.
So we're just riding on board with the car 6, the AMG of Heaven again, down to 1 second behind P5. And P5, by the looks of it, is stuck he's kind of coming up to a back marker, I believe. So this could spice things up.
Is Gregorelli in the 307 ERC Sports Racing Ferrari, so they'll not want to hold their teammate up too much, I'm sure. Actually let both cars go. That's very very fair racing there from the ERC Sports team.
Yeah, very good.
So what we know those guys quite well. It's what you expect from those guys, to be honest.
Yeah, that was really good racing. I was wondering whether he was going to come across at the last minute, but no, really clean racing. Oh, the AMG's just gone flying through on the outside. I'm not sure.
It almost looked like Luca Mari touched the grass a little bit and then maybe got a throttle. Interesting line. But yeah, Matthew Heaven through and up into P5.
I'm pulling away quite quickly already. So yeah, that'll be interesting. So he's just 1 spot behind Tom Venters, who is now 11.7 seconds from Diego Cozzolino in P3.
So that gap between Heaven and Venters 16.3, so running similar paces at the minute, 3 or 4 tenths either way, but I think that gap probably a little bit too big to close in the remainder of this race, unless there's issues or mistakes.
Just having a flip backfield just down the field. We've got Christian Jones in the pink, very lovely pink Ferrari that was originally run by Peter from Pseudo. Just under 5 seconds now from the Leave EOS racing car, the other Ferrari. I think he's closed in quite quickly. I don't remember him being that close.
Yeah, that gap's come down. We still believe actually with the yellow flag a little bit ago, didn't we? So that's probably helped that gap come down.
Yeah, that's right. Other gaps we've got is Alessandro Murgia in the Lamborghini is just 3.5 seconds from the Audi of Marecki, the number 43 car, P7.
Yep, Vertrek Marecki there, Big Brain Racing Audi.
Did you not notice the pause? I was hoping you to pronounce the surname for me. Thank you for hanging me out to dry there. Although I think I did it okay.
You did fine, yeah. But yeah, they've really struggled with that Audi today. They've got another yellow flag for the number 46 BMW there. They've not been having a great time with it either, to be honest. They've had a few off tracks. Just coming around the final corner, just losing the rear end in the final corner, which we spoke about quite a lot earlier in the race. That final corner can do that to you.
We did. We've had another disconnect. I was literally just on board. Car 289, Warren Mitchell, has just disconnected.
It's a shame. Shame for those guys. They were running a decent race down there.
Chris.
I was just going to say the gap between Tom Venters in fourth and Diego Cozzolini in third, now down at 8.3 seconds with 28 minutes still remaining in this race. Definitely closing that gap quite substantially. Cozzolino's dropped back 6.5 seconds now behind Morton there in the number 11 Lamborghini.
Yeah, and talking about cutting the distance down, Christian is just over 1 second now from Believe in the other Ferrari in P12. So this is a battle that's looking like it's going to hot up. And yeah, we've also got Alessandro Murgia just 2.5 seconds in P8. He's chasing down P7.
You can also see the lead car in the background there of Darryl Young. So the gap out front, Darryl Young in that Wild Things Racing number 92 Porsche. The gap back from him to Morton de Boer in the number 11 Big Brain Racing Lamborghini, about 25 seconds now. So I know Darryl out front there will just be cruising now, not wanting to make any mistakes and just bring the car home from there.
Sorry, I was reading Twitch chat. I wasn't listening to a word you were saying there, Matt. If you ask me a question, the answer is yes.
I didn't.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I can clearly not read and listen at the same time. Although I think people that know me already know that. So I'm still watching the fight between Christian Jones and Believe, the EOS racing car for P11. Down at half a second now, so this is really looking like it could be a move in the making if Christian can find a way past, that is.
Yeah, really seems to close in, but run a little bit wide there. I'd say the lead car there of Darryl Young still right on the back of these two, so they're going to at some point have to let the leader through. Be interesting to see if Christian Jones can use that to his advantage.
Yeah, so I've just noticed that they're getting blue flags now, Matt, and just to confirm, the blue flags in GT racing aren't the same as Formula 1. You don't have to jump out the way before you see 3 of them all get a penalty. It's just drive a predictable line, don't fight and overtake. Is that about right?
Yeah. Or just put the car off track into the gravel and let the leader get through.
Well, I mean, that
helps.
I was going to skim over that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's right. GT racing, there's no need to jump out of the way. You just got to be predictable. If the lead car makes a move, you can't defend the position. And yeah, typically when you're getting lapped, the car coming up behind to lap you is usually quite substantially quicker, especially in these sort of length races. So usually it doesn't take too long before they have an opportunity where they can make a little bit of a move and you can just let them go and maybe only lose a tenth or two by doing that, rather than like the Formula 1 style, like you say, where you jump out the way and you maybe lose half a second plus.
That's right, and obviously different drivers will do different things. I know I tend to get lapped quite a lot, so I tend to try and pick my point and make it clear that I'm letting you through the inside now, because I'm going to lose more time watching my mirror, making sure I'm not blocking you. I might as well just let you by.
Well, and obviously these cars have indicators on as well, so I know I use the indicators a lot to let the car behind know where I'm going, and I know a lot of other people do. Another option that's there for the drivers. Not everyone does it, but some do, and it works quite well.
That's right. So just looking back at Christian Jones, who's the one that just let the leader pass by running completely off track, managed to close the gap up straight away and was close to the back of Believe's Ferrari as it ran a touch wide. Not close enough to make a move, but he's now literally 0.2 of a second from the back of that other Ferrari. So he did well to bring that gap up and kind of punish the mistake by being right all over the gearbox of that Ferrari.
Yeah, Believe's run a little bit wide there in the last corner. Oh, not quite sure what happened there. It looks like he got alongside and then lifted out of it.
Yeah, I just wonder whether Christian thought he'd kind of had any contact. I think I mentioned last race, Christian's a really, really clean driver, so if he thinks he's made contact and got past, he will just drop back. That's the only thing that makes any sense to me.
Okay. We do also now have Alessandro Mergia in the number 182 car, right on the back of Vocek Marecki in that number 47 Big Brain Racing Audi. So Pseudo Racing versus Big Brain Racing. Oh, and a bit of collision there with the back marker.
Oh yes, that was. We were right on board with that on stream at the time. So Alessandro slamming straight into the back of the back marker. It looks quite clumsy on the screen, but everything happens so quickly sometimes, and you're pacing your gap to the car in front. You take a slightly different line and find that there's a car going much slower than you.
Exactly, in that situation, I think the back marker, in trying to stay out the way, has actually ended up being right in the way.
And I've just jumped on board. Believes Ferrari seems to have made a mistake and caused a yellow flag. Yep, he's taken the curb on the run up the hill just too much, and it spat him onto the grass. So Christian has got past there. That was unfortunate because that was a really good battle between those two cars.
Yeah, definitely. The gap now jumping back up to Tom Venters in P4. The gap down to Cozzolina in P3 down at under 5 seconds now. So with still 21 and a half minutes to go in this race, that's definitely a battle that I think we're going to see before we get to the checkered flag.
He was about 18 seconds, wasn't he, behind, literally about 5 laps ago. That's what it feels like. Probably was a touch longer than that. But that's,
considering we've been going for an hour and 40 now, it really doesn't feel like it's been that long. I think we've had good action all the way through this race. We've had plenty to talk about. So yeah, it's been a good race so far, an exciting race.
We just got a message through on the Twitch chat to say Chris backed out because he thought he might have entered the pit lane.
Okay.
So during that overtake where he just dropped back, he thought he was in danger of entering the pit lane, so he dropped back to get out of the pit lane.
Okay.
So yeah, wouldn't be good to make another pit stop at that point in the race. So I guess better drop back a touch. And as it turned out, he was passed a couple of corners later anyway.
Yeah, we also had Ryan O'Sullivan in the chat saying that he's cursed because of the disconnect from the lead there.
Yes, yeah, that was a real shame.
There's always the next one. That's the good thing with racing. You have a bit of bad luck or you have a bad result. There's another race coming up, either the next day or the next week, that you can get in, and you soon build that confidence back up. Yeah,
100%. So we've got a question on what the gap between 4th and 5th is. That is currently sat at 12.4 seconds at the moment. So we are on board with Alessandro Murgia in the Lamborghini, who is now just a second behind Marecki in that Audi. So he's been slowly bringing that gap down, lap after lap. So now, yeah, just a couple of tenths now away from getting a decent tow down the straights. Well, in fact, no, he's in that spot now. So maybe a move hotting up in the next couple of laps for these guys.
Yeah, obviously we saw the last time Murgia got on the back of Marecki, we had that back marker that kind of stymied him a little bit on the outside, going into Knickerbrook, or into Hislop, sorry. And hopefully this time we just have some clean racing between these two and see what Murgia can do against in the Lamborghini against the Audi.
Yeah, he seems to be really pulling him in. Braking seems to be the biggest difference between these two cars. The Audi's a pretty quick car, but he really does seem to be braking, so I wonder whether that's tyre related. Matt, what do you think?
I know they've really struggled with that Audi through practice and through the race so far, so I think that the Audi just doesn't have the pace around here. It doesn't seem to, at least.
I mean, I know the previous Lamborghini and that Audi were pretty much the same car with a different body panel on it. Is that different now we've got the new Lamborghini?
I'm not entirely sure, you know. I think it is still the same engine. But I'm not actually sure what the changes are in that Lamborghini compared to the old one.
Okay, because I am fairly sure that it was pretty much exactly the same car. Obviously, this version of the Audi came out probably a year and a half ago. Would that be? I think it's probably about that.
Yeah, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 2 years, but yeah, around that sort of time frame.
And I've just seen that we've had a very brief yellow flag for P6, which is the Porsche of Mauri. He seems to be got on his way again, nice and quickly. Tom Venters, I've totally missed, has made a move and got past Diego Cozzolino. See whether I can skip back far enough to watch this happening. I think we got far enough back. I think so. I wasn't expecting a move quite this quick, so I wasn't watching too much. Cozzolino ran just a touch wide on the back straight, and Tom sailed through on the racing line. So that was a good move for Tom. Bad luck for Diego. However, they've got that car is in a great position, so they should be really proud of what they've done here today.
Yeah, I think also maybe Cozzolino, looking at the pace that Matthew Heaven has, maybe just thinking they want to try and consolidate that P4 rather than try and fight and lose more time. Matthew Heaven closing in quite rapidly still. 16 minutes to go, and the gap between P4 and P5 is just under 10 seconds, so it's going to be a tall order for them to close that gap from this point. But we have seen good pace from that number 470 SSRC AMG Mercedes.
Yeah, we have indeed. That's been going great guns all race. We've still got Alessandro Murgia literally up the tailpipe pretty much of the number 47 Audi. These guys have been going at it for so many laps. It's brilliant bit of defending, brilliant bit of attacking, really clean racing. You've got to succumb to this sort of pressure at some point, haven't you, Matt?
I mean, some of the very best drivers, you'd say they never really succumb to the pressure, but yeah, at this level, you can only really take this for so long usually. So we'll see how this battle progresses throughout the rest of the race here. We have had a comment in chat from Selectra. The new Lambo has an ECU update and aero. So I know the ECU now on the Lambo doesn't actually, or the engine maps. Sorry, they don't actually change the like the throttle of the car or anything. It all just adjusts the amount of engine braking that you get in that car.
Okay, so what? So are we saying then it's basically the same car just with some aero and technology updates? Is that what that's saying? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, clearly they're very effective given the current pace of the Lamborghini against the Audi. Clearly they're doing a good job. As the Audi runs wide there,
yeah, running a little bit wide.
I thought there was going to be contact, but managed to just, I think, to stay apart from each other. But that was very close.
Yeah, Mugia's got the inside line, but a little bit of contact there in the inside of turn 1. Just looking at that again, there's very minimal contact. I think that's one of those ACC things where you know, in real life racing, there's a little bit of contact and they carry on, whereas ACC, it's like it's made of rubber. Yeah,
that was really unfortunate. He's kept it going again. Hasn't dropped a place at least, but yeah, that was tiniest of tap with the biggest of effects. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, so 6-second gap now to close back in on the back of Marecki there. Yeah, he's not under any pressure behind Mugia. Got a minute and a half back to Camuso in that number 46 BMW. Having said that, we just have a yellow flag there for Marecki and the BMW, so
yeah,
that's closed that gap up completely again. So let's see if we can see what happened here. Oh yeah, a little bit late on the brakes there from Marecki.
Yeah, trying to keep that gap as big as possible. Ended up, having connections.
And I think Maggie's got through while we've been on this replay.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
So let's see if we can catch that again.
Yeah, it looked like it was a direct result of the contact that those two cars had.
Oh yeah, another spin.
Yeah. So there we go. If Alessandro had made that pass stick, he'd have probably been the one there having that contact with the back markers. So I guess it worked out nicely for them. Not so much for the Audi. Unfortunate, guys. You've been racing really good. But yeah. Still only, 3.8 seconds from the back, so they could make maybe a counter-attack, although that Lamborghini has seemed to have been a fair bit quicker in these closing stages than the Audi.
Definitely. Just to jump back up to the battle for P4, does look like Matthew Heavens closed that gap down to 3.4 seconds now behind Diego Cozzolino.
So this is the car that you were suggesting maybe was just thinking, you know what, we're going to consolidate a position right here, not going to fight Tom Ventus too much, and he's ended up falling back into the clutches of the number 470 AMG anyway. Let's hope he was just looking after his tyres.
Yeah, hopefully saved a little bit for the latter part of this race.
But again, just remember, he's Italian, tyres mean nothing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so he's
yeah, maybe a little bit of a mistake from Cozzolino somewhere there. That gap's come right down to 1.5 seconds.
Just keep looking at the front of that Mercedes. AMG. I think, how is he finding so much pace in that car with a bonnet that disfigured?
Yeah, exactly.
He's certainly racing the
not
nuts.
looking healthy, but still quickest man on track last lap around.
Yeah, he's racing really well. And I wouldn't have ever thought the AMG is a particularly great car around here, but yeah, what do I know? Clearly not very much. Oh, and the Marecki in the Audi has come into the pits. I'm going to guess that's for damage.
Well, it could be damage, or could even be tyres at the end of the race with the couple of spins that they had. But they had a healthy gap behind them of about a minute and a half, so shouldn't lose a position from taking the extra pit stop here. So probably worth doing just to be safe in the closing stages.
Well, how close do these cars tend to run the fuel? Because obviously you can run out of fuel. Mark Jones has done it plenty of times, Mark?
So's Darryl Young, who's out in the lead at the minute. A couple of times recently when I've raced with him, he's run out of fuel, so it's entirely possible.
Well, so, I mean, they're doing an hour stint. Is an hour reasonable in all the cars on the fuel?
It should be.
I think an hour is fairly good, isn't it?
Well, it's like we've got right for position here. Matthew Heaven just on the outside, down into Britain's into Hislop. Sorry.
I think they had a touch of contact there, and it seems to have fixed the bonnet of the AMG.
Yeah, doesn't it? Oh, a little bit on the curve there from Cozzolino, but manages to hold on to a position for the time being. Very close between these two. So we'll come around Druids under Warwick Bridge, down into Lodge Corner. Does look like Matthew Evans got a lot more pace in that AMG at this point in the race than Cozzolino has in that Lamborghini.
Yeah, he's
especially in that middle sector.
He's been doing a brilliant job of reeling him in, hasn't he? So he's only 8 minutes to fend off this attack, but as you said, Matt, he does look like he's got quite a lot more speed.
Yeah, to take a bit of a sharper line into Cascades there, which is I thought they were going to go side by side, and Cozzolino's run wide there, and made contact with the tyre barrier, unfortunately. Hopefully managed to scrub enough speed off there that it's not major damage, but yeah, side by side coming out of Cascades. You don't really want to be side by side going around Island Bend, and I think Cozzolino got a little bit freaked there on the outside and just kind of lost it on the grass.
Yeah, he's gone off again as well, unfortunately. Dropped another place down to P6. But I'm right on board at the moment with Christian Jones, who's just half a second. He's currently in P11, and then P11 themselves are just half a second from... P10 is just another half a second from P9. So a great little battle hotting up in the back end of the field. We can see Christian Jones making a run for the outside.
And it does look like Beckagley in that McLaren has got a drive-through. So it looks like Christian Jones will inherit this position. Whether he gets it on track beforehand, we'll find out shortly. But yeah, Beckagley with a drive-through there. Costly drive-through with 6.5 minutes to go.
Yes, so 14 seconds is going to... He's going to come out, still sort of 5 or 6 seconds ahead of P12, but he's certainly going to lose the P10 that he's in, and also the chance he was fighting quite well with P9 Camuso in the golden BMW. So that's unfortunate.
Yep, this may now give Christian Jones a chance to fight with that BMW, the 46 car driven by Camuso.
I've got to say right now, I need to have a look at it again, Matt, but the McLaren 720 does seem to be doing a fair bit of weaving on the straight as Christian tries to make a move. He does seem to be...
he's serving the drive-through there.
And yeah, with Cozzolino, so Diego Cozzolino has had to pit. I don't know whether you've already said that, Matt. Sorry, I don't know. We were focused on other things.
Just seen that myself. So yeah, Cozzolino in the pits. That's got to be for damage then after that contact with the tyre barrier. So it'd be interesting to see where he feeds back out. It's unfortunate because he was going really well up until that point.
And Peter in chat just pointing out that P10 is a lap ahead of P11.
Okay.
Yeah. We were getting excited, Peter. Just give us this, please. It's bloody Dutch people, jeez. Love you, Peter. Yeah, so that's really unfortunate with Cozzolino obviously picking up some damage. He's dropped down to P8 at the moment. Yeah, sort of 35 seconds ahead of P9, so hopefully he can get out again. That's
still stationary in the pits at the minute though, so
yeah.
Let's see, he's just starting to move now. Yeah, I think he might just get out ahead of Camuso in that number 46 BMW. Yeah, he's going to have a healthy gap ahead of that BMW actually, so yeah.
Yeah. So glad he's got going again. Bad luck.
So 4 minutes left to go in this race. Tom Venters in P3 has closed that gap down to Morten Burin by just under 7 seconds now. But yeah, I think short of a mistake, I don't think that there's enough time to close that gap down. So who would you say is your driver of the day today?
That is a really, really tricky question. I've got to be impressed with Damien's drive out in front. He pulled such a big gap in his stint. Unfortunately, they disconnected. Who do I think should have? I don't know. I genuinely think everyone throughout the field, everyone's changed positions quite a bit. There's been obviously a number of issues kind of off tracks and bumps into the wall, but it's the very nature of this track. I'm going to give it to Damien for his first stint. It was mind-blowing how quick he was. That's difficult for me, pseudo racing, to be giving the driver of the day to Big Brain, but he did such a brilliant first stint. It was mind-blowing how quick he was.
Well, what I would say though, the 84 car currently driven by Tom Venters and driven by Darren Jones before. Very good recovery from them to get back up to P3.
100%.
Obviously, difficult to give them the driver of the day with when they did make the mistake to have to make the recovery as well. But definitely a very good recovery.
100%. And I've just been told I've been invited to go to the Netherlands by Peter, so my driver of the day goes to Peter in the Ferrari car number 23. Congratulations, Peter. You win a bottle of vodka, which I will bring around personally when I come and stop at your house. Thank you for the invite. He's quite happy with that. So yes, I'm sorry, Matt, I just jumped in. Yeah, just looking, we've all got kind of fairly big gaps. Just keeping an eye on Tom Venters, who is now 5.1 seconds behind P2. Less than a lap to go, really.
I guess someone we haven't really seen too much of in the second stint is our leader, Darrell Young. He's just about to cross the line to start his final lap, so maybe we'll take a lap on board with him.
Yeah, indeed. I did have. I was on board with him just a little while ago, but yes, certainly. Why not watch his lap to take over? Yeah, well, a great victory. Certainly capitalised on the disconnect of car 777 from memory.
Yep.
Excellent. But still, you've got to be there to take the checkered flag, and he was there.
I think very much what I said earlier in the race. Aurelian Kroos in the first stint kept it there or thereabouts. Made a few little mistakes here and there, maybe a little bit of contact with some of the cars, but kept it there or thereabouts, and then just capitalised in the second stint from others fighting and the disconnect from that 777 car. But like I say, you've got to be there. You've got to be there to pick up the pieces when it doesn't go well for others, and they've done a very good job of that. Darrell Young, I don't think I've seen him really make any mistakes in this, or not anything major anyway, in this second stint.
No, I agree. I don't think I've seen a mistake from him at all.
The gap's been consistently 20 seconds plus. He's just getting a little bit sideways for the camera there, I think.
Yeah,
Because he's on stream.
exactly. He's going to nose that, and I'm sure he's going to flash his lights like crazy coming across the line for the victory. But what a victory! Well deserved. Oh,
Even in a little bit wide there. I think that's all intentional. All under control. All under control. But yeah, great victory there for Darryl Young and Aurelian Kroos in the Wild Things Racing number 92 Porsche.
yeah.
Next up, we've got Morten Naburin just coming into the last corner. So also Rainer Athenstadt was the first driver in that car. So the number 11 Big Brain Racing Lamborghini just coming across the line now to pick up P2.
Yeah, they've had a great race. They should be really impressed.
Yes, they've been solid as well. And then Tom Venters brings home number 84 Lamborghini for Pseudo Racing, along with his partner Darren Jones in the first stint. So yeah, I think not the podium we expected, but I think all three of those teams deserved it, probably for different reasons.
Yeah, I agreed. And once again, Matt, I'm really impressed with the quality of the racing. Yeah, we've had a touch more contact here, but it's a much tighter track. It's much more difficult to spot when you're going past back markers and such. But I think the quality of the driving today has been awesome.
Yeah.
So congratulations to every driver that's been out there.
Definitely. And Matthew Heaven then coming home in fourth position with his teammate Wolf Prodano in that number 470 AMG. Again, good recovery drive from those guys. Found themselves down in P12 at one point, and then in P8 at another point. So yeah, good recovery drive for them. Luca Murray coming home in fifth position with his teammate Oscar Meza. And now everything's just gone skew-iff on my end. I think Murgia in the 182 Lamborghini, his teammates disappeared off my screen, but yeah, very well done to them. Mark Jones and yeah, why has everything gone?
I don't know, it's all gone from my screen as well.
Yeah. But yeah, we know our podium anyway, and the other results we'll publish after any stewarding decisions that have to be done or anything like that. But yeah, I think like you said, I echo what you said. Very, very good, clean racing, and another very enjoyable race to commentate on.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's been brilliant. So, everyone in chat, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the race. We are back here. Well, we're not back here, but we are back next Monday at around about 8:30 UK time. This time we're going to be back on Matt's channel, Big Brain Racing's Twitch channel. We're going to be doing the whole thing all over again. What track are we at next week?
So we're at 90 minutes of Nürburgring next week.
Awesome. I wonder whether that ties up perfectly with our race on Tuesday. It doesn't, I'm fairly sure. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, guys, get yourself subscribed to our channel. Head straight over to Matt's channel, Big Brain Racing, because we will be there next week. Any closing thoughts, Matt?
Just thank you for everyone taking part tonight. Thank you for everyone watching. And like I say, really enjoyable race to commentate on. So hopefully we can have more of the same next week at Nürburgring.
Indeed. I couldn't say better than that, so I won't. Thank you all, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die,